Hello everybody and welcome to the Comb Racing League. We are here today for CRL's first Endurance League race. Here at Spa, qualifying has just started, drivers now on the outlap, and it started raining a few minutes before the practice session was due to end. At the moment on board with the 973, we'll stay on board with that Ford, follow their lap around, see what they can manage, then hop around. I've got to work around the awkward camera angles that come with ACC, but certainly a spicy qualifying to start off. Will be a 3-hour long race, and I've just realised I've got to set up the party for potentially 2 of the drivers to join me in the commentary box, so I've isolated myself here. But here we go, first car starting his lap now. There is a car ahead, the 111. Can you turn off line assist? Have I got it on? I do have it on. Yeah, no, that's a good shout. I have no idea why I have that on. Right, there we go, improvement. I think the 973 pulling off to let yet another car through. Try and move forward to the 111. Here we go. So this will be the first car to set a lap. One of only 3 McLarens here, so not as many as the Fords, the BMWs. Still nonetheless more than one as a slide there. Is that enough to invalidate? Actually, they already have invalidated. That is me being blind, showing red on the clock. Okay, who's the first driver who's not invalidated? Yeah, no, I've just with that, Nathan. I'll get there eventually. 264 behind was pushing, no longer suits to be the case. The 973 already aborted their lap. We'll hop on board the 264 and have a look. Yeah, they have invalidated. That's Team Diabito and Boldo Racing. Of course, got the usual fun team names coming in. Okay, then the number 11 is the next one on track. Here we are. Nope, 11's invalidated as well. Everyone loving the rain here. Right, 102. There we go. We found a driver who's not invalidated at time so far. So this Ferrari here, the 102. ACC Console Hungary is the team here. Can't say it's a driver I recognise. Adam. I believe ACC Console Hungary have put 2 teams, because there was also one called Manuel. He's pulled off to the side. He's not happy with his lap, maybe. Will anyone set a lap time? Right, the number 7's our next hope. Gotta find the number 7. Nope, they've invalidated. Okay, the 187. Somebody's got to have got a lap somewhere. The 187, the Germans. No. Another car yet to set a lap. The 68's invalidated. 275. Any hope? They've also invalidated. Everyone clearly soaking up the fun of the rain. Right, what is the next one? The 221. That's the next one down here. Hey, we found a car. Nice. Will this be the first driver to set a lap time? We're yet to have a single person, I believe. But I will have a quick check. No, we do have a couple lap times. The number 15 and the number 46. A 228 and a 232. Right, yeah, okay. So missed those couple of cars. The 221 though, looking at the moment to set a time. Can't see the time from here. Can I hop on board? Does it say on the dash? Care to show me the... No? Okay. Ah, here we go, yeah. So going to be behind the other two, but a lap nonetheless. If everyone else is invalidating, having it on the board puts you at a significant advantage across the line. They set a 2:29.7. Okay, it seems dash is inaccurate. I should give up trying to be smart with the way I look at this. Yeah, another lap time set here. 2:46. Is that an invalidated lap time? So we'll hop back to the time and screens, have a look. 4 teams now setting a lap. The 15, the 46, the 12. Somehow the 46 has set 2 laps. Have 2 teams given themselves the same driver number? Yes, they have. That throws me off. And they're in the same car as well. Whose idea was this? Okay, right. I'll work around that bit. Someone's been a silly billy with organising stuff here. So, let us find a team nearing the end of the lap. The 747, they've had an invalidation. The 973, they have not had an invalidation. They now are coming towards the line, looking to be in amongst the field. Still raining, the rain not getting any heavier or lighter. It's a 2:32. One the driver behind. 2:30 for the 264 in that Ford. Set by the one and only Mr. Freefall. Still, yeah, halfway through qualifying, plenty of drivers yet to set a lap. This, I believe, the car currently on pole up front, driven by Harry Palmer. First driver looks to be half a second green. He is, well, near to 4/10, but still a 28.3. Pulls over to the side, return to garage for him. So we're now up to a whole 7 cars that have set times. I could have sworn this BMW was meant to be 221 car number, unless I'm being fooled. Yeah, this is meant to be the 221. Okay, I don't know why that moved over. We're showing the 46. Moved over a second. It's meant to be the 221. With the 6 of 8 here to set in a lap. We shall hop on board with BMP Motorsport. Never mind, no, we shall not. Staying board with these guys though. Old and Young Racing nearing the end of their lap. 30.5, that's 2.2 seconds down on current provisional pole time. 2/3 of the qualifying session done, although the rain starting to clear up that dry line a bit more strong, although not as strong as it seems. This driver has estimated the invalidation, and it's still wet tyres, but you're kind of nearing that point where you're considering dries, although actually looking from this camera, never mind. Just the onboard tricking me a little bit there, although Spa, a long circuit from top to tail. So a chance of raining in some sectors, not raining towards some of the other ones. Right, let's find someone interesting yet to set the time. Here we go, limited ambition here, with their ambition clearly limited for the moment. They are still wanting to set the time. 4 minutes left of the session. They're only really leaving themselves a couple more attempts. This one plus the next, they're not going to get around before the time is up the end there. You can see, yeah, not raining at this section of the track, just more towards the start line, and I think the rain's starting to clear away even there. It's going to be these last runs that are going to get quicker and quicker each time around. Right, we will watch 193 from garage. Where are they? They're there. Look at the time she's okay. So the top 2 teams separated by 400ths exactly. Bit of a gap down to the rest. Still at 28.3. Harry Palmer not gone out on track yet. Again, Just waiting for the optimum moment for the rain. But you want the tyres to be nice and warm with the track dry, and that might very well be a mistake. Though having said that, Note has just left, has time to get around before coming back in again. So number 12 there, just seen it jumped up to P5 Hayes Motorsport Team 2. Both Hayes teams. Actually, no, one in the Lamborghini, one in the BMW. And interestingly, it's Team 2 ahead, so I don't know if it was a flip of the coin on who got Team 1, who got Team 2, or if it was, here's our 3 strongest, here's the other ones. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they do compare to each other. So 68 next car to the line, that's the McLaren just up the road. Actually, we shall hop on board quickly with that McLaren. So towards the line it is going to be... No, inside of time, I don't know if that was an outlap then. Right, the 193, the car we were just on board with. Seeming quite slow, but I might be mistaken here. Right, well someone's just set time and I was not paying attention as to who. Is that the 973? Maybe, possibly. 973 of Ferrari, I do not even see that number anymore. No, I can't work out what's going on. Okay, but I'll do my best. The 275 next car to the line, they have set a time. They are up to P8 with 1:29.7. And I've managed to miss Jay Garrett with Cone Racing Team A at 27.6 there. As we mentioned, the track drying up, going to fall towards the benefit of drivers. As Ford rounding the last bend. And does improve 28.3, slightly off the back, but yeah. Right, bear with me a quick second. I need to grab a co-commentator in here, so you will not be able to see the screen for a little bit. Right, sorry for the interruption. Back to racing as there's 35 seconds left on the qualifying clock. And here we go. Jamie has managed to join me here in the commentary box. Hello, hello. Hang on, I can't hear him.
Hi, Jonathan.
Ah, hello. Nice.
I was just adjusting my volume, that's why.
Ah, perfect. No worries.
I just woke up, Jonathan.
Haven't you got a stint, or are you not first stint?
I'm not the first stint, no. Josh is the first stint, then I'm going to be in the middle stint, then that's when I leave you. Then after that, I'll come back and join you for more company.
Yeah. Well, at least I won't be doing the whole 200 minutes alone. I'm like, yeah, currently suffering ACC, jumping between cars. I went down and I wrote through the car orders, but ACC's even misnumbered one of the cars. So we got 2 cars, number 46s. So here we go, towards the line. Currently, Cone Racing Team A not able to improve it. Jay Garrett with that one is in the pit lane. Harry Palmer is still out on track. Hang on, that's the number. That is, yeah. The number 7. That's showing all the wrong numbers. He is the number 7. No idea what the timing screen on the side is doing. The 111 coming towards the line, and ooh, hello. Moved up to P2 for Old and Young Racing. Next car number 13. We will stay on board with Harry Palmer. He's the most likely to challenge for pole. He's timed it well when the track had more time to dry. Only needs to find 6/10. In fact, I will attempt to hop on board with the man if it will let me. Never mind, it won't let me because the session has ran out of time. No, he's had a spin. Coming through Blanchimont over the curb into the wall, and that is his qualifying lap over. No improvement to be found by him. Okay, Hayes Team 2 then, the Lamborghini coming towards the bus stop chicane. They're the only driver left in the top 10 who can set a time. Coming around the last couple of bends towards the line, and it is going to be up to P2, a quarter of a tenth behind. My goodness, top 3 cars separated by less than a tenth, and that concludes qualifying here at Cone for the first endurance race. That's 15 minutes of qualifying down, 180 minutes of racing left to go.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. We've got this track, it's about 7 kilometers long. Remember the pit stops, it's 2 long pit lanes for the endurance cars as well. So the regular Formula 1 pit lane, then on the right hand side we use the other pit lane too. So it'll be a very long pit stop, and you can't afford to make any errors around in the pit stops either, like speed it too, so it could be very costly. But congrats to Jay Garrett's team. I'm sure him, Nathan and Zombie Don will be very impressed, and we'll see who in that team does the first stint. Would it be the drivers who go from qualifying straight into the race to that first stint, or will they switch around? I know there's only 2 of us for me and Josh Evangel's team, so I'm currently in P11 in the McLaren, and I will be doing the middle stint too. But it's looking good so far for Jay Garrett's team. Even in the league itself, they're doing a fantastic job as Jay Garrett himself. I think he won the Indianapolis Grand Prix, but he didn't turn up for the latest one, which was in Valencia due to internet connection issues. But he has got a Wi-Fi booster to try and help his internet transfers, as we always need it around in gaming.
Yeah, so I'm just having a look at the sector times for the guys in qualifying. Jay Garrett's sector 1 was over 6/10 slower than the car, than the Old and Young Racing team, the car that came for 3rd. And he was also slower in sector 2. He just found, Old and Young Racing, they had a really bad sector 3 compared to the other top guys. Everybody in the top 12 had a faster sector 3 than the guys who qualified 3rd here. So they were on for a really, really strong lap. But then the last sector came away from them 8/10 slower than the pole time. As I mentioned, slowest sector 3 in the top 10. They look to be one to watch out for. It's saying that's the 720. Old and Young Racing will be the number 111. I have no idea, as I said, why it is showing the incorrect numbers on here. I'm hoping that'll fix itself later, because the number will be different on the side of the cars.
Yeah, there will be indeed, and we'll have to wait 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go so we can get racing again. And we'll do the rolling start, I believe it is, on this straight we're on board, not the main straight you usually see down in Formula 1. So turn 1 effectively, and turn 2 will be Eau Rouge and Radion. Let's see if the drivers have the confidence to take it flat through Eau Rouge and Radion. I don't think I do. And I told Josh lies earlier on. I haven't done any practice. I fell asleep. So the whole thing, when I got back from work, watched the race and just fell asleep. I just dozed off. I was supposed to do some practice, but oh well. We'll see how it goes. I hope I don't crash the car, otherwise Josh will be very mad at me, and keep it intact for his 3rd stint.
Yeah. You mentioned not doing any practice. I meant to kind of get back into the habit of swinging things with ACC and commentating. It's been, I think, over a month since I last commentated. And I didn't even set up my PS5 until yesterday, because I got back from uni a week or 2 ago. So it seems we're both doing things a little bit last minute. But what I haven't done last minute, I've prepared some talking points for my 3 hours of going through. Obviously, the drama of F1 today created a few extra talking points. Max and Lando having they're coming together, they're moving under braking and what have you. So I'm sure when we're deep in the race and there's not much action going on, that can be a topic we can swing back to. But for now, 1:20 till the formation lap begins. 18 cars here for the first race. I think there were 4 other teams that signed up, so hopefully we'll see them in future. It was points for the top 20, so everyone who finishes here is guaranteed points. 45 points for first, 12 for 10th, and then down to 1 for 20th. I've missed plenty in the middle, but just give a rough idea on the distribution of all of that. This 4-round season, about 1 race a month, 1 every 4 weeks actually, I think, to be exact. So
yeah, it is. And the other Sundays that we do, the league ones, that's the ones I commentate. And the first 3, or the first 2 I'd say, because the first race did get cancelled, I think it says drive now on the top left of the screen. I'm not sure I'm supposed to press that or not,
Yes.
but we're supposed to press that.
Yes, I am meant to press that. Right.
Hopefully I'm on board with the right driver, because when I leave you, Jono, I've got to select Josh as the driver and make sure I get it right.
Yeah, don't
Otherwise,
start,
it'd be a
don't
bit
start
screwed.
driving someone else's car. Yeah, right. The numbers have now corrected themselves back, which is very nice. Here we go. Session start underway. You can't see the front of the pack. Actually, they're not moving yet, are they? They're still in neutral. There we go. Starting to move away. You can't see anything from this camera angle. There we go. 747, the Cone Racing Team A, leading us away here for this first endurance race. And this will be the first of many laps around this glorious track, many drivers' favourite track. How many laps do you reckon it's going to be? You would have simulated this, I assume.
Oh, I wish it never had to be this question because it puts me on the spot. Well, how long does it take to do a lap around here? 2 minutes 30 to do a lap?
Not in
This
dry.
track? Well, not in dry. Oh,
They
yeah, not in dry.
managed.
2 minute 18?
I think you could manage. Hang on, right. Let's have a look at the people doing fuel simulations. What will they put in? Right, someone put 2:19. We'll do 2:20. If we assume it's a 2-minute 20 lap time, then that puts us at 77 or 78 laps of racing. So that's an awful lot of laps. There's Scotty saying, "Good luck, Jonathan. Rob has switched to manual gears and might only do a short stint, potentially doing 9/10 of the race." Okay, so that was Mr. Freefall, the man. I guess did qualify and handed it over to his teammate. That's the 264 Diabito and Boldo Racing, I believe. So they're starting a fair bit further down, I think. If I can find their car.
Yeah, I think
Here we are. P9, okay, not too far down. Splat in the middle of the field where all the chaos is going to occur then. Oh, it is
I'm on board with Kevin, Jono. I'm on board with Kevin. I can't get off him, so I'm not quite sure what I've done wrong here. But once the race gets going, I'll return to garage and hopefully can go on board with the driver. He's gone on board with Josh later on. But yeah, Kevin's looking quite strong recently as well in Villa Hobnobs. I believe Hobbs is in that team, hence why the name and Le for Kevin, as he is French as well. But yeah, he's been looking quite strong on ACC recently. I know he's been involved in a few incidents, not due to him, not caused by himself, but due to other people. And let's see what he can do here as well in the P5 with Adam behind and ILT Phil in the P7 International Racing Team, of course, which is ILT, as he represents that team, with the other ILT drivers in there, whoever's racing with them. But let's see what co-racing team can do. Jake Garrett, I think they've got a good, stronger driver lineup as well with Nathan Booth alongside, and Zombie Don, the South American Dutchman there too. So let's see how they perform tonight.
Wait, South American Dutchman?
Yeah, he's born in South America, but he lives in the Netherlands.
Alright, okay. Right, so race soon to. Well, so I seem to be getting away now. We've still got
Not South America,
sector.
South Africa, sorry.
That makes sense. I was going to say because South America is a continent, not a country. So it seems a bit weird. He's half one continent, half another country.
Yeah. I knew I said something wrong, but as soon as I said it, I was thinking, what did I say wrong this time?
Have we got Kyle Army on the calendar? Has he got a half home race?
Right,
let's have a
I'm not
look.
quite sure now.
We've
Do you
got
have
Spa,
Singapore?
Bathurst, Monza, and the 24-hour Nürburgring up last. So you won't have a home race. I guess Belgium as close as it gets because that's close to near enough to the Netherlands. When I went to the 2022 Grand Prix at Spa, there were a lot of Dutch fans there for Verstappen who were happy to see him win that time around. But Bathurst seems nasty for an endurance race because you clip the wall and you just pick up damage.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I actually don't remember that track, but I think I know
Mount
which one you're
Panorama.
talking about.
So
Oh yeah, yeah. I think I know
same
what you're
track,
talking about.
just different names. Right, so we think they'll be going once they have passed La Source, or is he tyre warming? Is he getting back into the grid slot? Right. Aston Martin, Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche, they are your top 4. In fact, I think the top 6 cars are all different manufacturers here.
Yeah, good spot there, Jonathan. I think they are as well, with Kevin in the Ford and Adam in the Ferrari too. So yeah, top 6 different manufacturers. I believe we're coming towards the line now, Jono, if you want to take them away.
Yeah, here we go. The drivers waiting to put their foot down, coming towards the line. Of course, this version, much longer pit lane, also starts in a different place, still has the same place for fastest lap checking, but here we go. We are green, and a good getaway for the 747. The Lamborghini immediately being challenged by the McLaren alongside, and I think does fend it off in the end. Let's see if we can get back here. Kevin in 5th. Cone, what are they called? The Hobnobs.
And Kenny's had a problem. He's fallen down into last place. Sorry there, Jono. He made a mistake out of Rouge Redion, and Kenny, unfortunately, is down into last place, and that's a shame there for Kenny, because 10th place he qualified, but he's fallen all the way down there. I think we've got a few more people swapping places. I hadn't exactly got the best camera angle too, with the map in the middle of the pictures too. So good job not streaming.
Yeah, well, what I've done is I've noted the order that you flick between all the cars, and when I want to see which car I'm going to, I look at where it is on the list and see if it's quicker to go up or down to get to it. So I found a weird way to make this work, but it is still the 747 leading away at the front. I mean, you can see the gap he's pulling to the rest of the field. The rest of them are still somewhat close together, but just starting to really pull away little by little. So let's see if I can hop on board with the number 12 Lamborghini. Here they are, yeah. I mean, look at that, 1.7 seconds down already. Just 2 sectors complete so far, and not even that. Next sector split round the next corner, under threat from the 111 behind, and naturally, nicely, these two battling. They happen to be right next to each other on the list, so it's very easy to flick between them from a spectator point of view.
Phil, sorry that. Phil went a bit wide, cut out Stavler, but kept it within the track limits there, which is very lucky there, because track limits at this stage of the Grand Prix, never a good sign. Pick up penalties quite early on in this race too, whereas once again out of Baltimore, he does extend track limits. He came with it in ACC. In comparison to F1, otherwise it picked up a 3-second time penalty. But as you can see on the braking there, Kevin a bit deep. You can see Phil switching lines now. Does he get a better exit than Kevin out of the bus-stop chicane? He has to stay behind him, but can he set himself up into turn 1 to go down the inside? Looks like Kevin has got a bit more straight line speed in that 4. But here he is up the inside. Can Phil make it stick? Down the inside he goes. And looks like Kevin has the exit around the outside. Keeps Phil at bay, so it looks like Kevin's got to watch out now for IRT Phil right behind in the BMW as he puts him under all sorts of pressure. But however, Jake Garrett in the lead by 1.9 seconds there. Looks like he got it covered, as you can see there. Kevin
slow exit though from Radion for Kevin. And the number 221 coming up the inside. Kevin not even going to try and defend it. I think somewhat letting it happen here. But forced to take the outside line, and yeah, back through into P5 for Phil. Kevin demoted down to P6. Bear in mind, these guys may be fighting hard. They're only a fraction of the way into the race so far. Still plenty more to go. So the driver's not going to want to get too heavily into the action just yet. Let's have a quick look back on our lead, and yeah, 2.3 second lead now. The Cone Racing Team A. Garrett miles ahead of the rest of the pack. 275. I didn't see what happened to them. I don't know if you did, but they've been forced to come into the pit lane.
Yeah, Kenny, I think he smashed into the wall at the exit of Rouge Radion on the first lap, so that's why he's down there in P18. So him and his team will not be happy about that one, but I can see my own teammate Josh Evandro, who started to put all boys hungry, 2 under pressure, which is Jordan. I can see him there carrying more speed through the corners, but just can't seem to find a way past Joshua for the time being. So we have to stay behind until a real opportunity presents itself and try and outbreak him into the bus of chicane if he can get close enough out of Stabler. It looks like decent exit speed there for Jordan. as we continue all the way down the straight there to Blanchimon. It's like Zay number, I think it's number 111. But we've got different numbers, it seems, because you're saying this number, and on my screen it's saying a different number, so it's going to be quite confusing when we say the numbers. So that's why I keep getting lost every time you say a number, because it's not there for me.
Right, the guy in P3 is the 111.
111.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was somebody else you said, and I was like, that's not his number. I can't remember who it is now, but at least we've got a few same numbers, but not all of them are the same for me, for you.
Yeah, but here we go. Evans on to the back. It's still always half a second down, so not near enough to go for a move. Near enough to keep him pressured, though. A good exit here to Rouge Radion is going to award him an overtake. If he can get it right, can he do better than the Mustang up ahead? It seems he can. A much stronger exit, already closing that gap down now to 2/10. Is it enough to go for the move? So I keep pressing the wrong buttons here. Alongside, side by side now. And I think he is safely through. Can he defend it through? Yep, breaks in time, and that is the 45 up into P9. Good news for you then, your teammate making moves.
Yeah, it is indeed. That's what I love to see, as I was on board with that, just nice and plain and late on the brakes in comparison towards Jordan there, and up the inside he went. So next cars ahead is Adam and Harry Palmer. Jono is quite close, gets a good run out of no name, and here he is all over the back of him. Is he going to dare send one up the inside into P1? Let's have a look now. They go side by side. Harry has the inside line. On the curb he goes. As you can see, around the outside goes Dave, but gets pitched on the curb of the exit, where Harry Palmer has the drive, and he's up into P3s. That's great racing. Usually in F1 you don't see move, but look at this. Phil is around the outside in the final chicane. Can he take opportunity as well against Zay in the McLaren? BMW versus McLaren, of course. They go side by side of the final chicane, headed down into turn 14 now. This is great mastery from the two, but Phil has the outside line, sweeps around the outside, carries the speed, and now he's up into P4. So that's a shame there for the old and young racing team. Gets swamped by two drivers. He's down into P5 now. Got to watch for Kevin, and Ewan Small in the BMW is right behind Kevin as well. So this is a great scrap going on there between the Ford and the BMW as well, with the McLaren in between. And Ewan Small is a very quick driver himself as well. We saw that back in Valencia and in Indianapolis. But is somebody going to go the inside? Is that Kevin looking for a move on the McLaren? Not quite there yet, but however, Ewan Small looking very interested in the back of that Ford too.
Yeah, I mean, this battle for P2 really kicking it off. 747 miles into the lead, but the rest of these guys, actually the number 12 Lamborghini starting to pull away a little bit, with this battle really kicking off here, this first stint. Do you know how long a stint's going to last, actually? I didn't even think to check how long they can make the fuel go.
I have no idea, mate. I've not done any sort of calculations. Leave it down to the rest of the boys. Honestly, when it comes to like strategies and everything, Ewan Small took too much curb on the inside towards Rouge Radion, but gets away with it. But yeah, honestly, I'm not quite sure. But look at Phil on the back of Harry Palmer, is in the slipstream of the Lamborghini, now pulls the inside line. They both lays their brakes, but you can see that Phil looking to go up the inside, but the door's not just open there. As you can see him switching lines, almost losing the rear end of the car as we make our way now towards the exit of turn 7. Does he get the run on Harry Palmer down the inside into a Lafarge? Has to brake a little bit earlier, and Harry Palmer has him covered for the time being. Does he go out wide? You can see Phil is carrying a lot more speed in the corners in comparison towards the Lamborghini, but not able to make any sort of pressure. Not the Lamborghini, sorry. But yeah, it's Phil's not able to make an impression on Harry Palmer just yet, but he's certainly there and within striking distance.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been quite aggressive given how early it is in the race. I mean, at this point, you have everything to lose and not all that much to gain. We're not even 9 minutes in. This is a 180-minute race, not even a 20th of the way done thus far. 3 mandatory pit stops. I think that is the number of pit stops we will see done from most drivers. But yeah, I mean, they're not treating it like an endurance, they're treating it like a sprint, and that means more action for the rest of us. Harry still fending off Phil here, but that 3/10 gap will come right the way down with the long straights of Spa. If the BMW can get a good exit through Blanchimont, is in for a shot, clipping the dirt there, kicking it up, as does the car a few meters down the road, but does stay far enough ahead to defend, doesn't have to worry too much here. Still got that big M4 in the back, reminding you it's there. Not quite as big as the M6 was, because that really was a behemoth of a car. But the M4, yeah, keeping him humble.
I think Harry Palmer and Phil have started to close in on the Hayes Motorsport, on the Lamborghini. Harry Palmer is starting to put a bit of time towards Hayes, whilst he's been under pressure by Phil right behind. So, despite being under pressure there from the BMW, he's still able to try and find some time on the car ahead. So Jake Garrett, he's offers the distance to the 747 driver, nowhere to be seen so far. It's just all in the midfield. But Ewan Small, he looked like he was close to try and make a move on Kevin, but he's too far back. 3/10 is a big gap, by the way, here at ACC. In Formula 1, it's absolutely nothing, because obviously you have the overtake and the power of the DRS2 to help you. Who's that? Was that Zay going wide out of, I think it was Lacombe? But Ewan Small, he's going to go on the inside into Rivage. We go. He looks to do so, and as you can see, Kevin anticipates his movement, and here comes Ewan Small, carries the speed through the corner, and nice move there on the inside. It's nice to see moves being made in different parts of the circuit here, especially in places you don't expect to go wheel to wheel as well. Maybe I'm just thinking about F1 the whole time, because obviously I'm a commentator for F1, not ACC. I still prefer commentating on F1.
Yeah, well, what's it? You come to GT for good racing, you come to F1 for the fast racing and the occasional mistake. But some very, very nice overtakes in places that you've never seen a F1 car go for the move. Actually, some very respectful racing as well. Kevin leaving just enough room but keeping his on-track opponent nice and steady. Right, now I'm trying to work out, has the 264 made a mistake to drop back? Let's see if I hop on board with them quickly. There's damage on that car, isn't there? That's Scott's team.
Oh yeah, it is. It's saying number 95 for me. So I was trying to look on the full map. It says the correct numbers, but on the left-hand side of the timing towers, it says something different. So yeah, Scott's team has fallen backwards. Not quite sure why. He's down there in P17 then. So a lot of work to do for him there. Obviously in ACC, we don't have any safety cars, so it is very crucial to keep the mistakes to a minimum. And it looks like Ewan Small now is making a move on Zay going into turn number 1. Now he's going to go around the outside of the old and young racing team. Now remain wheel to wheel. Who's got the traction out of turn 1? Looks like Zay's just inching forwards as they continue their fight. Going into Rouge on Radion. Oh, they're about to go side by side. One of them's going to have to yield. It's going to be so difficult. But Ewan Small makes a move and he goes up into P5.
Now watch Kevin behind. Kevin absolutely flying behind, and yeah. The 1111 goes from challenging to 5th right the way down to P7 because the momentum got killed on the exit. It lost so much speed going through Rouge, coming out the exit of Radion. Nothing left top end wise, and loses a couple of places for hanging on to that fight that bit longer. Kevin happy to take the advantage of that, moving up into P6.
Yeah,
I think the numbers are different.
P3 P7 didn't he? Zay.
Yeah.
Sorry, 3rd. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think if you go into drive, the numbers are correct, but when you're not in drive, they're incorrect.
I mean, I prefer not in drive because I can see everything. I can see the top left of the time towers. And also, when you drive, when you swap into whoever, it's apparently relative, not in order, which is so annoying.
It's based on the order that people join the lobby, so it never changes, but I've got a list of the order of the cars to make my life easier. So now, if I'm on board with the 111, if I go to the next car, it'll be the number 12.
Oh yeah, that is so annoying. I cannot stand that whatsoever. But look at Ewan Small. He's right in the back. Sorry, that's Phil. He's right at the back of Harry Palmer. But Harry Palmer, look at that drive that Phil has. Look at him with the straight. Oh, he's
contact!
And Harry Palmer's gone off and he's hit the wall with his rear end. That's going to be a lot of damage. Does he reach on his track safely? He's in the middle. He's in the middle. Is anybody going to hit him? Oh, more contact! Who was that? That's Kevin. Kevin and Harry, unfortunately, making contact too. And also Zay in the Audi Racing team. Oh, that's 3 drivers there making contact as Josh, licking his lips, got past 3 people in one go there. And it's all caused by Phil and Harry Palmer. Harry Palmer is in the pit lane. What about Phil? Phil survives another day, but he had too much overspeed on the McLaren there. I mean, the Porsche. and that caused him to go off and spin, hit the wall.
So what was that? The 7, the 111, and then you said that Kevin got involved.
Yeah, he did, because Kevin he smashed into Harry Palmer, I think. If I saw that correctly. Obviously not his fault, no one's fault, but Harry rejoined in the middle of the circuit.
Well, yeah, the initial contact happened, and then I didn't actually see who it was. No one else has come into the pit. We've just got the 7 and the 111.
I thought it was Kevin. Let me clip that and let you know about that.
Yeah, shame for that car. I mean, so early on in the race as well. Let's hop on board with the number 7. I might go the long way around here. Yeah, the 111 pulling into the pits now, to be expected. And this longer pit lane as well. It feels so slow when you got that pit limiter on. But such is the layout that is used here. And then, Harry Palmer in the pits. Goodness knows how long he's got to do repairs on his car. But in for the long haul, I would expect.
It must be so frustrating during the early stages of the race to be almost out instantly in that 3-hour period. So him and his team will not be happy. Obviously, Harry switched teams, didn't he? He went from my team to a different team. So now look at the incident. Phil taps the back of Harry. Harry spun and hit the wall. Then he spun again and he rejoined in the middle of the racetrack. Now, somebody went through. I think that was Ewan Small. Then behind him, yeah, it was Kevin. Kevin got involved and he hit the wall as well for good measure. I'm not quite sure how much damage he's got, but for Harry, he's got a substantial amount of damage. Kevin hit him as soon as Harry was in the middle of the circuit, but luckily he wasn't in a spin, otherwise it could have been worse for Kevin. Maybe he's got some bodywork damage on the front, so it could be changed during the pit stop. So that's what happened there. But yeah, I clipped it and just to be watched, because a lot of things happened there in one go.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I saw was that the 111 came into the pit lane after both that car and the number 7 repairing. Both of those were towards the front as well. Because, the 111 was fighting the number 12, Old and Young Racing fighting Hayes Team 2. But now both of those out of contention for the win. You're going to drop right the way down the order. I think 18 teams racing, so... is it 18? Yeah, it is 18. So points for everyone, as that's the 111 leaving the pit lane. Less repairs to do, got in the pit lane later. But it's a whole lap down now for that car. And in fact, joining splat in the middle of the blue flag. Now, disadvantage. If any of these cars get past, that's bad news. Just remember, the 111, while they might have been damaged, if they fully repaired, that's a very fast driver compared to how far down the field they are. So letting those guys come through, blue flag obeyed. GT Racing blue flag, though, not quite the same as F1. I don't think it has to be obeyed that heavily. I don't know if CRL have implemented any different rules. You should know the regulations better than me, given your driving, but it sounds like you're not all that prepared.
Oh mate, for ACC, I'm never prepared. I don't even know where to look for results or who's driving. So I don't even know who's in whose team, other than my own team, obviously. I didn't even know that before the season started, anyway. But I asked, who am I racing? Who am I with this weekend? And Josh said it's me, TWAT. But Josh, it looks like he starts closing on Kevin now. I think Kevin might have a bit of damage. Not how many seconds he has of damage, but Josh now gains 3 places in one corner there, and now he's on the back of Kevin. So you can see the amount of speed he's carrying through the corners too. I think Phil is on the back. Oh, look, he is at the exit of Stavelo. Phil gets a really good exit, and now he's side by side with the Hayes Motorsport team, and now he overtakes him for P2. So Phil's on a charge, has some great pace. He qualified low, but gaining here in the race, he's got a 10.6 second gap to make up with Jake Garrett. I don't think Jake Garrett will be under pressure anytime soon, if not at all. But if Phil can close that gap down, then should be an interesting race between him and Jake Garrett. But Josh Evangelho now half a second separates him and Kevin. Kevin will be carrying a bit of damage on his Ford there, which might make it a bit easier for Josh to get past 2 as make our way now towards the Buster chicane for those guys. But 8 laps completed in this race then, and there's 16 more minutes left for me to go before I have to go back in the party. Yes, I've got a timer on as well, just in case I mistime it. But Ewan Small then is watching.
You mentioned that Kevin might have damage. He did just do his fastest lap of the race so far.
How you seen all this, by the way? How do you know all that?
When you're in drive, he just did a 20.557. When I'm in drive, I can see best time, lap time, and it tells me their delta. And yeah, he was green by, I think, about 1/10 and a half. So I wouldn't suspect if there is any damage, not too much damage. But this is Kevin we're talking about. DeWill here, absolute monster behind the wheel. Double Tier 1 F1 champion in CRL, double CRL Gran Turismo champion, and now coming here to be a menace in ACC as well, claiming another game underneath his belt.
Yeah, he's very rapid here in ACC and F1 as well. And contact there between Dari and TL. I'm not quite sure what happened between those two, as I just flicked on board with those as they were battling quite closely. The Audi and the Ferrari getting too close for comfort. And looks like they remain to live to fight another day for P12 and P13. But yeah, it looks like Phil's drops Hayes Motorsport team. And now Ewan Small in the BMW is getting close to him.
So, funny thing happening. Harry Palmer, a lap down, came out. He's now passing the cars he's been given a blue flag for. Because this is a driver who... I don't think he was on pole, was he? But he was in the top 4, one of the front runners. And he's now with the guys at the back of the field, just a lap down, having to gradually work his way, scrape his way back up to the order. He's got 2 hours, 40 minutes to gain all that time he can. He should be able to pull back and... get the full lap on some of these guys, but of course the lead now well out of the way. Is actually want to hop on board. There is a battle here going on. Small right on the back of Hayes, now down towards the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for the move round the outside? Can he make it work? Trying to hang it the long way around, gone slightly deep down. I think the Lamborghini. Ooh. That was a bump, wasn't it?
Yeah,
not a big bump.
That to happen.
Contact was certainly made there.
Well, we'll see what happens in the stewards room if that's reported. Ewan Small is the championship leader as well in GT League racing, so let's see if he can keep it up as well. I don't think he finished in P7 after someone made contact with him in lap 1 in Valencia too. But yeah, he's got some decent pace. Him and Jay Garrett has been really close in terms of pace, but looks like Jay Garrett has got himself in a comfortable margin over the rest of the field. And Josh Evangelho, they're really riding the curves. Gets a decent exit, but it's too far behind, or is he? Because he's got some decent speed on that Ford ahead of him, but doesn't like to go the straight line speed, try and go down the inside or outbrake him going down into Le Comnène, so he has to stay behind on this occasion, just waits for that moment to try and overtake him. Where is the best place to overtake around here in Belgium? I think there's plenty of opportunities as well, because he's got some good speed coming out the corners, but not too close enough to try and make a move on the inside. And looks like Hayes Motorsport is also fighting with Mahali over Boys Hungary as well, so those two are having a scrap for P9 and P10. The Eckler trying to gain a position off the Ford ahead of him, the BMW versus the Ford of course, but not able to make any sort of move going down into Rivage. Oh, we've got a spinner! That is Hayes in P4, has gone for a spin, and he spun. That's a weird place to spin, you know. That's surely making contact with somebody, because his rear end was facing the barriers, so I'm not quite sure how on earth he's managed to do that. But licking my lips there, because that's another place moved.
Some paint missing on the rear of the car, so clearly is some rear damage there. You can see is that understeered? I think he's doing a return to garage. No, just letting the cars through nice and safely, leaving plenty of room and more, actually, it seems. Yeah, that's going to hurt these guys big time. Been very respectful. Oh, hello. As I say that, nearly caught there by some of the other cars. Are they doing a return to garage? Are they just waiting for the others to come through? They've got quite a bit of clean track now. Get an idea of how fast this car is able to go and then run down to Blanchimont.
I think it was, who was it? I was just on board with him now, I forgot. Yeah, it was Mahali who almost hit the back because he went out wide at the exit of the final chicane, almost making contact too to add more insult and injury towards the car, but luckily he didn't, and he keeps the other Hayes Motorsport right behind too. Actually, he's going to go down the inside. That's a late move, but it makes it stick. That's a great move there from Eckler in P9. I thought it was a late lunge. I thought he'd make contact with him, and he sent it down the inside, make it stick. He even made the corner too, so that was a great move there. Full respect for the BMW driver. As when I'm watching Josh Evangelho again, he's still stuck behind Kevin then. and he's got 11 minutes of this before I join back and try and overtake him myself if I can. But look at the run he's got out of Rouge and Radion with the straight line speed, with the slipstream. Can he get past slipstream? Not worth much here, but yes, he does, side by side with him, and he gets past him, puts himself up to P4. So high expectations for me then going into the race, and I don't want those expectations because I know I might mess up. I'm not quite familiar with ACC. I'm still on pad, by the way, Jono.
All right, got the. Well, that's fair. No, ACC is probably a whole lot worse for pad than F1. So, good luck, especially with the tyre wear, because I think that's meant to be a whole lot worse on pad.
You be.
But yeah, still plenty of battles up and down the field, even though we are 25 minutes into this race. Right, let's hop back, do the return to garage. What have we got? We got a battle for P6, P7 between Adam and Jordan. Both actually seems teams that come from Hungary. Don't know what race numbers they are rocking, because I don't know if they're ones I should be believing. Into the pits goes Hayes, Team 2. Of course, that was to be expected. We saw they had that rear bumper damage from the crash at P1, which isn't called P1 anymore, is it? I forget what they changed the name to, but it's not P1.
Is it not?
No,
Wow.
they gave it some weird name. Everyone still calls it P1.
We all know it as P1. It's a famous corner.
Yeah. Right, so I am having. Is the number 13 a lap down or not? I think they are, right?
Yeah, he's 2 laps down towards his nearest competitor. So yeah, he is a lap down as Lucas in P15. And I'm not quite sure what happened to him either. He can't quite see everything in ACC. If this was F1, I catch everything, but because it's ACC,
Yeah,
I'm clueless.
F1, we both got years and years and years of commentating. We know exactly what to look for. Here in ACC, we're stumbling around in the dark. I think we have now lost, though, drivers from 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Those 5 drivers are all a lap down compared to the rest of the field through crashes, damage, whatever it may be. We had, what was it? We had the 11 and the 7. I think the 7 shows as the 15, so I call it. Those 2 cars had a crash together. The 13, I have no idea when they had a crash. The 275 had that lap 1 incident. The 12 just had one. Now actually it's the 13. I was going to say getting involved in some action. It's fighting some cars that are giving it blue flags. I'll see if I can hop on board with this. Got an unhappy cart there in the background. Which one is that? Right. Can I hop on board with... oh, actually, here we go. Right, hopped on board with something here in this battle. I think the 964 just been overtaken there by the 68. But these 2, they got 2 lap cars ahead of them. The 111 and the 13. So they'll be fighting each other while still wanting to defend from the cars behind. I hop on board with the 68. Right. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is getting spicy.
Jono, I got to leave you, mate, unfortunately. AJ just messaged me and Josh wants me back in the party, so I'll join you back soon. It's been nice to commentate you again.
Yeah.
4 years since our last one. 4 years since we started commentating together, because I looked at the very old video. It was in August.
It was Hungary, wasn't it? Yeah, Hungary. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, well, thank you for the help, and I shall enjoy the remaining 2 hours, 30 minutes. Hopefully you can join me again at some point, but best of luck with your drive-in, and don't mess up your P4.
Josh is working so hard. So basically, my first ever time doing a race was with Josh and Harry, and basically they both carried me, and Josh did the first stint. He got up to P1, led the race. Then once I took over, I led a few laps, and I spun and I turned my engine off by accident, because my ignition is at the same place as my ERS for Formula 1. So I accidentally pressed that as I turn my engine off. So it was very embarrassing indeed. They were wondering why I'm stopping on the track, because obviously when you turn your engine off for whatever reason, you have to stop on the track to turn it off, turn it back on, and get going again. But yeah, see you later, Jono, and I think Scott should be joining you soon.
Best of luck. Right, so there we go. That was Jamie helping me out there. He will be driving this car, the number 45, I guess fairly soon, given that Josh Evans wants him back in the party, maybe to discuss strategy. We will see what happens there. But that means you're stuck with just me for the moment. So, do we have any battles? Let's do the old return to garage. Look for close gaps. I think there is somewhat of a close gap there. Only difference being that is with some cars that are a lap down. P6, P7 here. Let's see, can I hop on board with one of these? The 102 and the 197. Are either of those numbers correct? Don't think they are. Alright, here we go. On board with the chasing Ford. Old Boys Hungary 2 chasing down ACC Console Hungary. It seems a bit slower through this sector. That gap was half a second, now all the way up to 0.9. And that is a lot of time to be losing in GT cars. The very technical middle sector here at Spa, not everyone's favourite. You've got to work your way through that sector to get the overtaking opportunities in sectors 1 and 3. The exit of Radion up into La Source, and then of course through Blanchimont into the bus stop there, your two big ones. No, not La Source, Lacombe. La Source is turn 1, I'll get there eventually. You'd hope 3 hours of this track and I'll know most of the corner names by that point. So a gaggle of cars here. I think Harry Palmer is 2 entire laps down over everybody else here. I had not noticed that one before, but it does seem to be the case here, and he will shortly be going for a move on the Audi of the Germans up ahead. Let's see, right, what car am I on board with? It was actually the Audi, running very deep, whether deliberately or not, and yeah, just allowing Harry to fly through. No risk going on with his car. Let's see, the 68 chasing down the triple one. The triple one is a lapped car, but doesn't just need to give it away too quickly, to the best of my knowledge. Although running deep through there, I don't know if that's tyres getting gradually older. And a mistake on entry, and that snowballs right the way down this long straight. No, blue flags are adhered to. The SRL moving past the lapped car. And that's the big downside of being lapped so early on. You get these blue flags, you have to let them through. And I think the 111, certainly with a fully repaired car, likely going to be quicker than the 68. So it remains to be seen what is going to happen there. Right, we will try and hop on board with the leader, have a quick drop in, see how the leader is doing. Here we go. Still Garrett up front in the 747. Yeah, 12 seconds clear of Phil in P2. Miles and miles ahead in this Aston Martin. I think it is the only Aston Martin on the entire field. So I don't know if the Aston Martin's really good around this track, or if this is just a very good driver, but he's managed an 18.9 at some point, half a second off that last lap around. But even that kind of consistency is stuff to very much be afraid of. 221, another driver just in clean air at the moment. Nothing to worry about, driving his own individual race. No one else really to bother with. Similar for Small in P4. A lot of these top guys not really battling at the moment. Just set a 20 flat, the car behind 20.5, so gradually pulling away here. Right, let's try and hop on. In fact, we'll watch this battle from here. This is the downside of having something on track. Hang on, that was not the car I thought it was. That's still not the car I thought it was. I don't know, I think I'm losing my mind. Either way, that overtake there into the bus stop chicane for 2 lapped cars. As the field now starting to spread out a little bit. So with 3 mandatory pit stops, you spread those out evenly. That's 45 minutes, an hour 30, 2 hours 15 into the race. Going to partly depend on when you want your driver swaps done. Some teams, like the 45 of Jamie, only going to have 2 drivers. Other teams having 3 drivers. I think it is roughly a 50-50 split between teams of 2 and teams of 3. Right, I'm going to try and hop on board with the P7 car, somewhat hunting down the 102. Actually, cars close together here. Old Boys Hungary under threat from Limited Ambition, who himself both getting unlapped by Harry Palmer. We'll see how that comes into effect. Harry Palmer will want to get past them as soon as possible. Of course, he is being blue flagged. He cannot hinder them too much here. It's that Ferrari right on the tail of the Ford, and I think moving out the way for Harry in his Porsche. Oh, okay, nearly a bit of contact there from Harry. Wanted to get them done. Ferrari behind, going wide through La Source. Going over the curb. Is Harry through clean and safe? No, he is not. He's in a sandwich between them. Not ideal for a blue flag car, but of course he is going to be the quickest of these 3 drivers in terms of raw pace. But yeah, last lap around. Well, looking at the best lap tells you the difference. We'll be looking for a way through as soon as possible. The 193 has dropped off the back a little bit here. Yeah, you can see he's just faster. He's gaining in some places, but the car ahead seems to be defending as if he's not a lapped car as he ran slightly deep. No, the Ford, I mean, he's doing a remarkable job of defending. Just do not think it's his race at the moment. He doesn't need to defend. He's to preserve his tyres, preserve his fuel, and push on, possibly follow another faster driver along, get pulled by that slipstream. Not too big of an effect as the 187 is into the pit lane. Let's have a look at that one. Is there a tyre change going on? Or have they retired? Why can I not see the 187? Bear with me a second. Ah, there we go. Took my time about that one. Are they getting repaired? Are they doing a tyre change? Serving a penalty? I can't tell. They do appear to be somewhat down at the moment, though. So, lull in the action. We will take a moment. Let's have a little talk about the F1 today. And more importantly, a spoiler alert for those of you who have not seen the race yet. It's going to be spoiled. Russell winning, but of course, Russell winning not because Russell was the fastest come the end of the race. Russell winning because Verstappen and Norris had a coming together up into turn 3. Turn 3 being the second corner of Red Bull Ring. Because, I don't know, someone fancied the little left hand as a corner in of itself. Everyone's going to have their own controversial opinions. Norris, of course, saying he's going to lose some respect for Verstappen if he doesn't claim responsibility. A stop and go for the 187, or was that They served it, because that's the car that was just in the pit lane. Unless it was how they exited the pits, giving them the stop and go. I think it might be. But yeah, Norris colliding with Verstappen. Honestly, my blame is on Verstappen coming wide in, kind of drifting towards the left, forcing Norris wide. Norris could have gone off the track, but chose to stick his line, did not move across the track whatsoever. Both drivers picking up a puncture. Norris pushing his puncture so much it damaged the car. Verstappen slightly more cool-headed about it, didn't go and destroy his tyre, able to still finish the race. Which maybe if Norris had gone a bit slower after he got the puncture, he could have done. I guess that's something to consider for future for him. But yeah, either way, Russell picking up his second win, Norris picking up a DNF that he did not want. He does seem to be. The McLaren, though, is starting to gradually become the quicker car. In my opinion, it certainly was last week. I think it was this week. Because you look at Perez way down off Verstappen, and you wonder how much of that is Perez being slow, how much of that is just Verstappen being so much faster than the rest of the field. So these two about the closest gap on track that I am aware of. Garrett with the fastest lap. I mean, look at that gap he has got over the rest of the field. 12 seconds, and even then it's a further 8 seconds down to P3. Trying to work out which is the last car on the lead lap. I think it's the 964 here. Yeah, every single car beneath that. Only 11 cars on the lead lap. The 111. Actually, yeah, we saw it had its crash and its pit stop earlier. So a lot of cars. You can see all these guys who've had a pit stop earlier on, with the exception of Harry Palmer, who did a return to garage, so not counting as one of the 3 mandatory pit stops. The stop and go picked up for the Germans. I think that was for, well, some pit lane violation. I don't know if it was the pit exit, the pit speed limiter, what it was. But a 30-second stop and go, that is going to harm their race even more than potentially early pit stop. I did not see if it was a driver swap or not, but not ideal for them. But he actually also, we saw Ocon doing his signature move of defending his heart out against his teammate, and no one else. As Evans is into the pit, okay, this might be the first driver swap that we see. Right, let's hop on board then with the number 45. They are going to be pitting. Is this for a driver swap? Is this for a tyre swap? Evans wanted Jamie into the party. Well, is this the reason why? We're nearly 45 minutes in. That's a quarter of the race. With 3 mandatory pit stops, that seems about the right time to pit. And if Jamie is doing the 2 middle stints, it would make sense to swap right about now. So, well, we'll see if it goes from Jay Evandro to Jay Morris. Driver swap has indeed occurred. I think Morris is Jamie's surname. I'll find out. A 30-second stop and go for the one. I know he's got 1 lap left to serve it. So pulling in to stop. Actually, as is the car behind, the number 11, who is just behind. I don't know if I can look backwards from here. Where is the number 11 in my list? There we go. They are just now pulling into the pit box, actually showing just ahead of Evans. You should be able to see from, yeah, just up there ahead. So pulling out, and it is still showing as the same driver. It is still Evans driving the car, not Jamie. It seems Josh taking the first 2 stints. There we go, the slightly awkward re-entry with this alternate pit exit to what the F1 uses. Yeah, before I started talking about those 2 guys coming into the pit lane, I was talking about Ocon doing Ocon things, getting in the way of Gasly. Those 2 were fighting quite hard. I can't remember exactly what it was. Who won it in the end? It's the usual, I'm faster than him and let me through. Ocon not saying thank you, but saying finally or something like that when it was finally let through. And then Gasly saying hurry up and overtake the Aston Martin. So Ocon doing his usual trick of befriending teammates. Meanwhile, Gasly's there, happy, smiling that he signed for next year when Ocon's been confirmed to not be. Actually, both Gasly and Stroll have been signed again this week, as we've got another pitter up ahead of the CRL coming into the pits. Where is that one? Here they are. As is the 221, the fake 46, as opposed to the real 46. But IRT into the pit lane was Phil Fisher. See if that gets changed out. Let's have a quick look at this, right? I think that is a change of driver. No, never mind. It does not seem to be a change of driver. Similar here, but doing their first mandatory pit stop about a quarter of the way through the race, as is to be expected. The rain comes later on, as we saw it did in qualifying. You might regret doing some pit stops earlier than you might have needed to, as Nathan mentioned earlier on in the chat. You can go from around an hour to an hour 15, so possibly extending your early stints could benefit you quite nicely towards the end of the race. And speaking of, our race leader and our race P2 both into the pit lane. Are we going to see Kevin in the 911 pull into the pit lane as well? It always amuses me that it's not a Porsche that's gone with the 911, but it's a Ford. Yeah, we are. Okay, it seems all the top guys are pitting. Is Adam then going to inherit the lead, or is he going to follow the rest of them through? Is this the lap they've all chosen to pull into the pit lane? That does certainly seem to be the case. There's Adam there. He's made complete... He's blocked Jordan. Pit entry is blocked. Adam's made a complete pig of the pit entry. Jordan backing away, trying to give him more room, but he's... what's that one meme where he's put himself sideways? What's the thing called? If I was Jordan, I'm half tempted to bump him to get him back forward. Moment of the race goes to Adam, who has managed to wedge himself perfectly in here. Right, what's this? The 10... Is it the 102? I'm able to see from Jordan. Yeah, it is the 102. Okay, right, we're going to hop on board with the 102. Here we go. He's done a return to garage. He's admitted to defeat, which means it does not count as a mandatory pit stop. My goodness. As Nathan's saying, it might be Jamie Racing, just not fully updated yet. And we'll see if that is the case. Yeah, so the 102, see Adam. Well, that's got to hurt to have happened there. Especially if your teammates are about to hop on board. So, Jamie was number 45. Is he still showing as the 45? Still showing as Josh to be racing. I'm not sure how much I believe this menu. Those guys currently P8. Well, currently P6. We're just past the pit lane. Actually going to gain a couple more positions here, I think. Yeah, up into P5. So on top of the fact that the 102 ruined their own race, R. Jordan in that Ford 973 lost quite a bit of time as well, just waiting for that Ferrari to return to garage, not be sideways across the pit entry. That's a funny little moment. I was thinking he's cut the white line a bit there. Maybe I should snitch on him to the stewards, give them something to look at. And then he dinked the wall. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Yeah, the stewards encouraging it to be reported, and understandably so, given how much it would have cost that other car. Alright, do we have any battling taking place at the moment? P13, P14, both these guys are lapped down, but it's actually pretty close nonetheless. What's that, the 12? You are actually the 12. You are 12 and 13. Jamie did say he was going to do the middle stint, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the second stint. So here, Thomas, around a few cars being blue flagged, one of them led him through. Harry Palmer up ahead. Well, Harry Palmer, we've already seen what he does with cars that are a lap ahead, quite happily just overtakes them and keeps it that way. Old Boys Hungary 964. Oh, hello. Getting up on the curb. Actually, the car ahead, Old Boys Hungary 2. So, quite a Hungarian heavy part of the track, because 3 cars behind is another Hungarian team. That is the Hungarian team, and specifically the Hungarian driver, who stuck his car sideways and got himself blocked in the pit entry. Which I'm sure his team made fun of him plenty for it. That isn't going to stop the stewards taking some actual action. I'm not sure what it will be. I've done stewarding for CRL. It's not in the rules, but it'll probably be considered dangerous driving. So yeah, up the road. Harry Palmer getting past a car that is a lap ahead of him, still making up for that incident he had earlier. Right, the leaders are into the pits. I believe that is the last car to pit, with the exception of the cars who've done a return to garage. So that is the 193 of limited ambition. Well, I mean, boom. Got to be fairly ambitious to pit this late. We'll see where that drops them. Behind the 102 coming in for another stop. And yeah, I think this will basically just be treated as a stop-go, but this is doing one of the mandatory pit stops after having to do a return to garage. But here we go, battle for P2. Happening on track, both drivers have been in second of each other, Small and Fisher. Both of them the drivers that did the first stints, both double stinting. I will quickly check if these are 2 or 3 driver teams. We've got BMP and IRT. IRT does have 3 drivers signed up. So this will be the last stint for Phil. Then BMP. Just 2 drivers there. Unsure if that were 2 stints apiece. Or a 3 and a 1. But a Romanian team, that one. So Phil still not able to close the gap down, but maybe with the help of the blue flagged car getting in the way at Rouge Radion, going to be able to launch that momentum. Is it enough? It does not seem to be. Both of them good through Rouge Radion. Number 13 being flashed. You can see the headlights on the back, getting the slipstream, pulling back over to the left, doing the right thing, lifting off a little bit, letting the cars through on the straight, nice and easy into Lacombe. And then getting the rotation off this heavy BMW. Last lap, fastest lap for the number 221. It seems being on the hunt, increasing their pace even more still. And yeah, this car just seems to be very nicely rotating at the moment. Guess to beat the fresh tyres that are underneath it. Doing exactly what needs to be done. Although still not really gaining all that much. The car ahead isn't exactly slow either, and as I say that, going a little bit wide there. BMW actually doing really strong at the moment, aren't they? 2 out of 3 spots on the podium for BMW. No Ferrari in sight near the front, unlike Le Mans, where of course Ferrari back-to-back 24 hours of Le Mans winners. There was the controversy at Le Mans. You had the number 50 had problems with the door, got called into the pits by race control after being black and orange flag, and electing to take the trying to use the full 3 laps extra they are given when you're black and orange flagged. And then the number 51 accidentally spinning the number 8 Toyota, but in the end it was Ferrari who managed to win Le Mans once again, and this time in first and third, unlike last year it was first and 5th. Though they are the only 2 wins accomplished by that car. And actually next year we've got Aston Martin joining the World Endurance Championship. They're going to field 2 Valkyries, so I do wonder how they're going to fit them onto the grid, given I can't see them getting rid of any of the 18 GT3s. So it's probably going to have to be some of the customer teams in Hypercar, because they're limited to 47 entries. I'd imagine Proton aren't going to be let in. I would have thought Isotta Fraschini aren't. Because I know Glickenhaus already denied entry into the 2024 season based on there not really being enough space. But I think everyone excited to see what Aston Martin can do with the World Endurance Championship and whether or not the car is going to do particularly well. Good afternoon to Hypotech. You're joining about an hour into what is a 3-hour endurance race. Forgive me if I have quiet dead zones in the sound. For the moment, I lost my co-commentator half an hour ago, who is due to be racing at some point in the number 45, which you can actually see at the bottom of the screen. 16 seconds off this, I say batter for P2. They're not really battling yet, though still very, very close. Phil ready to take advantage of any mistake made by the ahead BMW. It's the 187 getting some track limits. I think, yeah, that's the car behind here. The Germans picking up a drive-through, and they were the one on a 30-second stop-and-go penalty earlier. Second last for that team in the Audi. To my knowledge, the only Audi on the track. Alright, I am going to... Actually, right, how can I do this? Right, what we got? Yeah, 1 Aston, 1 Audi, 5 BMWs, 2 Ferraris, 4 Fords. Oh, here we go. As I was saying, it's not really a battle. I look back at the screen to see it is very much indeed a battle. These 2 BMWs fighting away. They're a third of the way through the race. They've done 1 out of their 3 mandatory pit stops. Still need a driver swap at some point though. IRT, the one behind here, the one we're on board with, 3 driver team. BMP ahead, a 2 driver team. Yeah, as I was saying before, I got interrupted by a phenomenal battle. 4 Fords, 1 Lamborghini, 3 McLarens and 1 Porsche. Multiple manufacturers only represented by a single team here. But it is, of course, always nice to see a variety. I think part of the reason the World Endurance Championship is limited for GT3s to only 2 teams per manufacturer is because you get that wonderful variety of the 9 different teams across just 18 cars. Whereas before, in the GTE era, started to get down to really just 3 brands towards the end. Now you've got a nice variety, even if it did mean losing that wonderful dinosaur livery of Rexy. Although, sort of had the replacement. Spike was racing in LMP2 at Le Mans. But it's not quite the same without Rexy. Actually, while we're at Spa, and speaking of 24-hour events, something I found out recently, the 2020 24 Hours of Spa, it got moved because of a certain 2020 situation. It's going to happen earlier in the year, ends up happening around October, but because of the date they moved it to, it was originally going to happen during daylight savings in Belgium. So the plan was to start at 3:30 one day, finish at 3:30 the next day, and then have it be a 25-hour race. Though sadly they had to scrap the 25-hour race because they couldn't allow spectators in. It was something to do with the licensing. Spectators wouldn't be allowed to watch the race. So even though they wanted to do a cool thing with daylight savings, they were not able to do so in the end. Had to settle with a 24-hour race instead of a 25-hour 24-hour race, which a shame that one did not happen. But it would have been cool. Actually, this year has been the year of funny length endurance races. You had, the 6 hours of Spa for the World Endurance Championship ended up being extended by an hour 47, so it became the 7 hours 47 minutes of Spa. You had the Nürburgring 24-hour got cut short a huge amount because of fog. They couldn't operate the helicopter, so it wasn't considered up to standard with the medical facilities, I think, something like that. And then, well, to be fair, to some extent, Le Mans, 6 hours 45 minutes behind safety car at Le Mans this time around. So, yeah, but still, I mean, remarkably good racing, especially 9 cars finishing on the lead lap, the second closest margin between 2 different manufacturers at the end of the race. It was such a good Le Mans, a true golden era of endurance racing. So here we go. The 747 is currently leading still. I believe a different driver. It was not D. Crosby who was leading before. Yeah, Jay Garrett was the one leading before. And then one of CRL's wonderful head admins, and actually Nathan in the chat who is there, is the third driver for this Aston Martin team. So they are doing particularly strongly. But while I'm off on random rants, don't know how many people are interested, but you've got the new Bugatti has been announced in the last week or two. We knew it was a V16 engine, but they've now announced it's called Bugatti Tourbillon. It's spelt Tourbillon, but you've got to sound really French when you say it, so it sounds like Tourbillon from Overwatch. So it's going to be very hard not to imagine the car as bits of a dwarf that places down turrets, although it is quite a short car compared to some of the previous ones. But they're going to make 250 of them, V16 as I said, naturally aspirated, which is always wonderful, a few electric motors, I think they got 3 of them, and wicked fast as with everything Bugatti, so that'll be a fun one to see what that does. If they do a Supersport version, is it going to demolish their old Chiron Supersport top speed records? I think it's already due to beat the acceleration ones of the Bugatti, the 0 to 400 to 0 that Bugatti holds at the moment. We will see if it can beat that. But yeah, I don't know, I've always kind of been a fan of the exotic hypercars. Even if they're rubbish for racing and don't really get raced, they get bought for exorbitant amounts of money. I want to say £3.2 million plus tax, 3.8 million euros as well, or dollars, whatever it was. But always cool to see cars like that coming out. There's Jacob here racing for the Hobnobs. This is the Kevin, the Hobbsy and Jacob team. Though I think Indigo mentioned that Hobbsy not able to race today. So just going to be 2 of them racing there. Hobbsy being Matt Hobbs. It's just Hobbsy is the PSN I've always been so used to seeing in the F1 games. All 3 of those long-time members of CRL, hence why I guess they're part of a CRL team. So here we go, a green lap here for Jacob, a 2:20.9. Yes, green for him, not green for the car. Now, do we have any on-track battles going on? I think Neely's the best answer I can give. Got the 187 pulling into the pits to serve its penalty for track limits. The 68 and the 193 are kind of battling for P7. See if we can hold on board with the 193. What am I on? 264. Here we go. So stick them on in the background while I continue on my motorsport rants. Which actually, yeah, I'm a Ferrari fan. I'll openly admit that. Big fan of Ferrari. Happy they won Le Mans. Happy they won Monaco. Meaning Ferrari won 2 out of 3 of the Triple Crown this year. Which hasn't happened since 1934 was the last time. Alfa Romeo were the last people to win 2 out of 3 of the Triple Crown. Was it? I don't know if it's 2 out of 3 of the Triple Crown or to win Le Mans and Monaco in the same year. But Ferrari won 2 out of 3 of the Triple Crown. The car that won the Indy 500 was also sponsored by Shell. So Shell-sponsored cars this year won the Indy 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, and Le Mans 24 hours. So, yeah, Shell seem to know who to sponsor. They've done a mighty good job of locking out the top of the motorsport industry. See in that rear view mirror, that little camera, the wobbly windscreen wiper that you always get. Which car was it? I think I was watching most of Le Mans. I want to say it was one of the Cadillacs. They had a problem with their windscreen wiper mid-race. The blade wasn't wiping the windscreen at all, so they had to replace the windscreen wiper. It was quite funny seeing the kind of it's picking up likely a track limit warning there. It's quite funny seeing you used to see high-tech, racing cars, top-of-the-line stuff. I think about £1 million for each hypercar, roughly, or it is for the LMDHs. It's going to be more for the LMHs. And then, actually, and it was the Cadillac, so yeah, LMDH. But then the windscreen wiper just looked exactly like what would come off your car. And that part had broken, so they had to pull it off, replace it with a new blade wiper, because it wasn't wiping the car, and it was raining at the time, so the driver, of course, complaining no visibility whatsoever, had to suffer through it for the stint. But that was a funny little moment there. Right, I found out why Indigo has been stolen from me in the commentary box. I finally looked and seen. He joined the party with his teammate, and his teammate promptly told him to practice. So I've lost a co-commentator because he's practicing for his stint later. And I do wonder if he will be rejoining, or if he'll be given the 3rd and 4th stints. And if I've had the first half hour, I've had all my it was running quite deep there, the Ferrari. Does lose a couple tenths overall through Lecombe, allowing the 68 to close in behind a little bit more. Yeah, as I was saying, I think I may have permanently now be on my own, isolated in the commentary box. Our primary trio racing here tonight. That is not a team name I recognise. Primary trio, right, let's have a look. No, they're not racing today. They are part of this league, but they haven't appeared today. They're due to be in the Ferrari, but I haven't seen that car didn't pop up in the lobby. So, to the best of my knowledge, no, they're not racing here tonight. Yes, they are racing in this league. But the next race isn't for another 4 weeks, which will be at Mount Panorama. So if you were hoping to see primary trio, then sorry to disappoint. This week is not a week that they are due to be racing. Just 18 teams out of the 22 sign-ups racing this week, which give them points for the top 20. Good news for the 18 teams that have showed up, they guarantee points. Right, now I do have to balance I'm speaking for 3 hours straight, so I have to keep drinking water, but at what point do I drink so much water until I start requiring toilet breaks? I have done long commentaries before. I think 2.5 hours is about the longest I've done before, but this is going to round out at just over 3.5 hours, so let's hope my vocal cords hold out. Had good fun with the poll, and somehow I've not sneezed a single time on stream yet, which I'm considering a huge positive, because I was sneezing away beforehand, but no sniffling to be found. And yeah, of course, if anyone watching isn't already a part of the Cone community, interested in joining, then you can find this championship on the SimGrid. Just search Cone Racing League. We should pop up. This is the Endurance League. We've also got a kind of more regular season where it's single driver ones, single driver teams, and more frequent races than once every 4 weeks. Right, hang on, I'm going to hop on board. I am on board with the 193. I want the 68. Where are we? Here we are. Hunting down that car ahead. Still no closer though. These guys remaining pretty equidistant here. And actually, I've talked plenty about WEC, I've talked a bit about F1. Let's bring the talk back to Assetto Corsa. Assetto Corsa, of course, a much loved game, plenty of mods. This Assetto Corsa Competizione, considered by pretty much everyone the best GT3 racing simulator that there is. But I've announced this year Assetto Corsa Evo, which is meant to be a run-in of the initial Assetto Corsa, and I saw they've listed it on Steam now, so there's a few tracks and cars that are confirmed by proxy, just because showing it in the screenshots. I'm trying to remember what they are. I'm going to cheat and just look it up on the store myself. I can spell Assetto Corsa. I don't think I can. I always miss the second T in Assetto. So, right, what have we got in Show me tracks. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah, the Nürburgring, of course. I mean, you can't have an Assetto Corsa game without that one. I think Imola was another one of the tracks confirmed. There's Matt starting to slightly fall away a little bit here, off the back of the 193. Seems the one battle that we had. It's interesting. I don't know why I pulled over to the right hand side of the track there. But yeah, Assetto Corsa Evo. No release date is confirmed just yet, but it is confirmed. Well, it's intended to be this year. That's not confirmed just yet. As E-Small is starting to close down on the 747. Let's have a look at the lap times. Right, hang on. I've got to find which car that is. Where is... Here we go, E-Small. Yeah, I mean, look at those lap times. Last lap, a 19.0. Best lap, an 18.6. Does seem to be the fastest man on track. And actually, the top three now, not separated by much at all. These two BMWs are both closed down on that lead Aston Martin. I wonder if the Aston Martin made a mistake somewhere. It's the downside of not seeing the full list of things here. ACC... not particularly commentary friendly, but the lead battle looking like it is gonna come back into action. We had it only for a fraction amount of time on the first stint. Cone Racing Team A flew miles and miles ahead under Jay Garrett. Now D Crosby driving for that team. It's two BMWs before BMP Motorsport and IRT closing down on those leaders. Excuse me. And actually, while we're sim racing talk, this time we're going to Gran Turismo 7. They've got their kind of official esport event, which is happening in Canada, coming up in about a week. I think it's on the 6th and 7th of July. And usually there's all sorts of kind of reveals that go on at that event. Be that new cars they're going to stick in the game. So looking forward. Personally, I'm quite a big fan of Gran Turismo, so looking forward to seeing what that brings. Quite often you get Jimmy Broadbent who ends up commentating for Gran Turismo. I'd expect to see him there. Always an exciting event. It's kind of Gran Turismo is simultaneously not geared towards the esports side, but also geared towards the esports side. So always interesting to see how it does on the big stage. So here we go, this lead 3 now, not even 2 seconds separating the three of them. An 18.7 last lap from Small, really starting to close down, and Fisher isn't being dropped either. These three guys closing the gap between them. Crosby going to be under more and more pressure now. And that gap down to just 0.6, even if he's not going to get him into Blanchimont, or through Blanchimont and into the bus stop. The threat of getting him next lap on the big straight in the air, already mistakes, the pressure building up. That's going to cost him 2 or 3 tenths there. Coming down into Pouhon, where we had that crash earlier on, wasn't caught. We saw the car on the track map go wide there. Have to pit for rear damage. You can see now the gap sitting at just 2 tenths. If I can pick a better camera angle, there we go. An Aston Martin right within sight. And actually I suspect BMP Motorsport, the number 6, going to be ever so slightly held up by this, allowing Fisher to close in behind. And now all three of them within 1 second of each other. Here we go, looking for the move, choosing the inside line for Blanchimont, the outside line for the bus stop, but I think the overtake will have happened by there. And there we go, through into the lead goes the number 6, finally lead change after so long a racing. And actually under threat immediately, is that 2 places lost in, no time at all, down to 3rd. They were leading for so long, co-racing Team A, and now in just 1 lap, in fact in just 1 straight pretty much, with Blanchimont kink in the middle of it, dropping down 2 positions. Seems lap time wise, D. Crosby not quite as fast as his other teammate, and I know Nathan, the 3rd driver for this team, is fast, but yeah, that is teams swinging different ways with different drivers. We will try and hop back on board with the number 6 if I can find them, because they might be under threat from behind with Fisher. I think Fisher is slightly quicker here. These two BMWs, they've got past the Aston Martin. Now they've got to try and work around each other. They're going to fight, they're going to work together. That gap of 2 tenths is really not all that much. And it's good to see that even nearly halfway through this endurance race, we are starting to get racing for the lead. And we're probably not too far off seeing the next round of pit stops. Some guys have already done 2 of the mandatory pit stops. It's usually about 1 every 45 minutes based on how many are required for the whole race. Is slightly going wide. So slightly losing the rear there, not massive amount. But looking forward to seeing the lead banner progress. Are they going to pit on the same lap? Are they going to wait? Hopefully we're not going to end up with a similar situation that we had with the 102 Ferrari holding up another driver by getting wedged in the pit entry. See the 6th, the 2-2-1. Really not that far ahead. 3 tenths, and already both of them 2 seconds a lap quicker than the 747. In fact, it's currently this car we're on board with that has the fastest lap. P. Fisher. Phil showing he's got the pace. He's held both the first distance for this car for IRT. He's still got 2 teammates, Sieb, and who is the other one? I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sieb, and I do not recognise the other name, a man called Leon Tor. Ooh, and a small mistake there, costing him big on the exit. Make a mistake on the exit of Radion, and that snowballs right the way down the straight. And look at that gap opening hugely up You can see 6 tenths, nearly 7 tenths red to the delta. And that reflects itself in the gap to the leader as well. Now up to 9 tenths. Fisher risking it a little bit, and that's going to be good news for Ewan up front. He'll be happy to have that slight bit more breathing room. The fact we still have a lead. In fact, I'm going to have a look quickly if there's anything else going, elsewhere on track. No, no one in the top 10 has done their second mandatory pit stop. But then further down, a long way, 7 laps down is this for this car. And that looks quite a damaged car. Or is it just a very dirty car? I'm not entirely sure. Either way, S. Dodds down in P16. Scotty's struggling quite a bit here. You've got the wonderful Spider Rob as the alternate driver there. Though it sounded like he wasn't going to win too many laps. And hang on, I have missed the fact the lead 2 have closed up again. That gap's starting to come down a little bit. I suspect that might be due to the blue flag, the lapped traffic, causing problems in that middle sector. Another lapped car up ahead, and I wonder when they're going to catch it. You don't want to catch it before you get through Rouge Radio. And getting past it on the straight would be wonderful for Small. Gives him a slipstream and gets the driver out of the way. Is that a car running deep in the background? I'm not sure if it was or not. Crosby now 2.9 seconds down, so hasn't actually lost anywhere near as much this time around as he did the first time. That was a horrid camera angle for that corner, my apologies. So yes, Small does seem to be the faster driver out of Radion. Seems to be one of his stronger points. But the two of them going to have to contend with the back markers, a couple of them ahead. Now interestingly, the car ahead is 1 lap down. The car ahead of that is, I think, 3 laps down, maybe only 2 laps down. Oh, hello. Going deep, and all of a sudden Phil closing right up to the back of the number 6. The BMW Civil War continuing once again and starting to spice up a little bit more. Now just 2 tenths. Are we going to see a move here or not? It's very awkward with the lapped car ahead. He's going to have to be so careful, picking his moment. The lapped car, I'm surprised it hasn't just moved well out of the way. I'm also surprised the drivers haven't been flashing their headlights at the car more. I mean, yeah, there we go. Lamborghini moving for one of them. Does he move for the other car? Yes, he does. Otherwise, you have a rather unhappy IRT driver. Has cost him maybe a tenth or two, just compromising the entry line. Doesn't hurt too much, given the next corner. But now these guys are starting to pick up the pace a little bit more faster this lap than the last. No mistake from Fisher in the first sector. I think the last traffic not hurting them quite as much. Overall now 4.5 seconds ahead of the 747. But again, more lap car shenanigans. We go a 19.3 by Smaller, 19.2 by Fisher. As those two both get in past the lapped car. Dodds moving out the way, nice and easy. Free fall. Good, pleasant driver to race against. Very aware of what he's doing. So always someone you can trust being around on track. So, here we go. This is a better run for Fisher than normal. His delta is into the green, and that's coming from the man who has the fastest lap. I don't think he's near enough to go for a move. He's certainly near enough to try and compromise the line of Small. But it seems not quite enough. Braking perhaps a smidgen late. No, just braking later than normal. Closing that gap right the way down. I mean, look, hugely on the nose, though, having a moment in the corner, losing some time, falling back a little bit. But of course, even if you get right onto the back of the car into Lecombe, because of the next section of the track, it's so hard to stay on the back through this middle sector. Not many overtaking opportunities, of course, better here than in F1. But in F1 you can overtake from much further back. Here in GT, I think these are GT3s, not GTEs. I'm going to say GT3. You need to be much, much closer, follow through the corners. It is now down at 2/10. He's doing a reasonable job at following, less affected by the wash of the car ahead. These cars are less aero sensitive because they've just got less aero in general. And actually, of course, their tyres less affected by age as well. But here we go, 3/10 exiting the corner there. And I've gone the wrong way on the slidey thing. I don't think it is going to happen. We are nearing the 1 hour 30 mark into the race. I'd imagine that means this guy is considering pitting for their second stop soon. We will see. Are they into the pit lane? No, they are not. They are still battling. 1 and 2 still so close together. Cars around them are pitting, but still not these two drivers. There we go. The announcer, halfway mark of the race. And somehow my vocal cords aren't feeling it too much. They're a little sore, but that's just the pollen doing its thing to me. And oh my goodness, look at this. Up through Radeon, into the back, right onto the tail of here. The BMWs side by side coming down through. Who's going to get it into the braking zone? Small with the inside line. Phil forced to tuck in behind, but looking for the switchback side by side. Still the two of them go. Forced slightly wide, but keeping his nose in the no. Small keeping his position, cutting him off, and Mike in his good racing. The car behind did flash him. So perhaps a little bit unhappy, running deep now. And yeah, I mean, good hard racing. Cutting him off was a little bit cheeky, but of course it worked. No damage was had. Kept the car behind him. I've just looked at chat and seen Palmer. I have no idea how long you sent that message. Commentary is going good, getting into the flow of solo comment for a 3-hour race. Had Jamie for the first half hour, but he's not gone. Your P14 after the big crash. Yeah, we caught that crash live on stream, and then I've kind of seen you been unlapping your way through the field, working your way back up the order. As plenty of cars now are a lap down, partly just due to serving the mandatory pit stops. A lot of cars have been served 2 of their stops now, as the 973 picking up a drive through for speed and in the pit lane. Never one that you want to get. So the question once again remains, you're not back in for another 20 minutes. You're in the number 7 car, right? I remember because you got reset to garage, so despite the fact you had to stop. Yeah, here we go, the 2 leaders into the pit lane. Yeah, you were in the pits, but you didn't pick up your first mandatory pit stop. Got sent. You were sent a full 2 laps down, weren't you? Yeah, that Porsche. I think it's. Are you the only Porsche, or is there another one? No, you are the only Porsche in the whole field. So nice and easy to remember. That bronze colour, I think it is, isn't it? But yeah, our 2 leaders pitting. The Aston Martin, though, staying out on. Oh, you're 3 laps down. Well, to be fair, the leaders have just pit, so that might be about to come down to 2 again. Although the 747 hasn't pit. 747 having a slower driver in this stint. Dominic not quite as fast as whoever was running it first stint. What's his name again? Dominic not as fast as Jake was, though Nathan in, well, presumably soon. Nathan another quick one. These 2 BMWs, they're doing it in tandem, aren't they? You had, what is it, of course, quite a lot of people know the number 46 BMW this year in the World Endurance Championship, given Valentino Rossi using his number 46 in that BMW. They had special liveries at Le Mans. I quite like them. But right, let's have a little looky at what is going on. So Dominic is now into the lead. Yeah, Jacob also coming into the pit lane. The 193, were they the one that just picked up a try-through for speeding in the pit lane? No, they weren't, because they haven't done the second mandatory stop yet, and they continue to not do the second mandatory stop. How about here, Hayes Team 1, they are coming in for their second pit stop. Here we go. And my co-commentator of old, the man who hadn't practiced and got forced by his teammates to do practice, Jamie Morris, is now out on track in 7th. Well, actually, soon to be not 7th position, given that a load of cars is going to pass in the pit lane. So Jamie Morris soon to be P3, I think, maybe? Oh no, actually. A load of cars have come out of the pit lane just ahead of him. But either way, looking pretty good, given they've already done 2 of their stops. The man hasn't practiced, bear in mind, he's on pad, but this is Indigo, this is Jamie Morris. He is remarkably fast on F1. We'll see how well he can transfer that, but looking at these racing lines, they seem very, very controlled and very smooth, given he's doing this with a joystick. That's McLaren giving us a bit of fire out the back of the car. We'll see how he's doing relative to the others who've done. Right, so what is he? Of the guys who have done a stop, of course the two BMWs are ahead of him. Not by a humongous amount, Only 25 seconds up the road. Those two still neck and neck. BMWs, they do move in herds, apparently. The lead, Aston Martin, that chose not to pit again the second lap around. So at the moment they've got a lot on track. Surprising they haven't pit this car, given, to the best of my knowledge at the moment, they have the slowest driver behind the wheel. Certainly Dominic not as fast as... what's his first name? Dominic not as fast as Jake in terms of lap time. But we will see how that all pans out in the end. Let's hop on board with one of our two. Here we go. One of our two BMWs. It's IRT ahead. I think it was BMP ahead before, wasn't it? Maybe there was a tiny bit of damage to repair. I do not know. But both of them have had swaps in the driver. This Sieb now driving the car. I didn't know Sieb was actually his first name. His PSN is IRT Sieb, so kind of that's what I'm used to seeing. But no, apparently Sieb is indeed the man's first name. I think a Dutchman there. BMP behind. They are a Romanian team, as I mentioned earlier. So we've got a nice mix of Europe. Do we have any non-European teams? I don't think so. I think we're on an entirely European grid. There might be some non-European drivers. I heard Jamie earlier on mention that someone was half Dutch, half South African. So, kind of counts. There we go. Harry Palmer, good luck hopping in the car now. So taking over from Dragon in that number 7. Do you know, I've never learned what Dragon's name is. I know it's T-Dot, but I don't even know how you pronounce the surname. He's German. He's a very nice man. Always great fun to race against. If I can find the thingy on here. Oh, Toby, okay. There we go, VSRL getting some support. Currently they are P8, but they have done 2 of their mandatory pit stops, which is not true for the 193 ahead of them or the 747. No, the 747 will come out on track ahead of the 68 VSRL. I don't know if these are the correct numbers. But I will see if I can hop on board with that team. Oh, hello. Actually, VSRL are on the hunt. The 68 hunting down Hayes Team 1. The number 11 just coming out of the pits. At the moment, VSRL seeming to have the quicker driver of the two of them. So yeah, she's closing that gap down really, really quickly. Struggling a bit there with the traction on this BMW. I think this will be a slam dunk move in not too much time at all. I will see if I can quickly hop on board with the 68 itself. Here we go. So, well, if you're smart, you keep them under pressure, you get a good exit from this next right-hander, you get them in the run down to Blanchimont. If you compromise their line through Blanchimont, that gives you good bit of leeway going down into the bus stop, although not gaining too much yet. It seems it will be an overtake into the bus stop, not before Blanchimont. Changing the TC map. I love that you can see that happen on the steering wheel when you're on board in the cockpit, right up to that white line through the sweeping left-hander. And no, not near enough to go for the move just yet, although having said that, going for an absolute send up the inside, running it way too deep. Did he hit the wall or not? I'm not sure. I imagine potentially picking up some track limits, but VSRL getting a little bit too hyper about the overtake, running deep, and in the process compromising his race ever so slightly. That's still not too far back. I mean, a mistake like that, you don't want to do it too often, but if you don't damage your car, then doing that for the first time 100 minutes into the race isn't too bad going. Although not too far behind. Well, actually, the car behind is Harry Palmer, who would have just hopped in, I think. Oh no, he hasn't hopped in yet. The number 7's still yet to do its second pit stop, but it will be Harry Palmer hopping back into that Porsche machine. Although they're a lap down, I'd expect... I don't know what Dragon's pace is like. I'd expect him to possibly be slightly quicker than this driver, but I don't know how quick this driver is. Clearly slightly prone to making mistakes, but that usually means a decent pace because they like pushing the car outs. So right, well, we got another lull in the action, which means I'm gonna hop back to my list of talking points I wrote up before the race. Back to Alpine. This time, not to complain about Ocon. They have appointed Flavio Briatore as the executive advisor. For those newer fans or those who haven't heard that name before, he is the man who caused Crashgate. He's the man who organised it to have... how was it you got to crash? Was it PK Jr.? I can't remember. Either way, he got banned from F1 because of it, got unbanned, and almost immediately Alpine were like, right, that man who got banned for cheating, we'll have him as our executive director. And honestly, lots of experience in the sport. He is the team principal who led Renault to their 2005 and 2006 World Championships. Just, you know, as I say in F1, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So, man took that to heart and got banned for cheating. But he's back. No longer as young as he was back then, but of course, still going to have plenty of advice to share the way of the team. Lots of knowledge on how to entertain people. I'm good to hear that. I was a little bit worried I'd slightly clam up given how long this race is, no one to talk with and not a whole lot of racing going on. But no. Actually, also, while we're on the Crashgate topic, there's the whole thing with Felipe Massa trying to get his... I don't know if he wants the title or what he wants, but the FIA were debating essentially removing the results of the Singapore Grand Prix, which is where Crashgate happened in 2008. They're removing the Singapore Grand Prix from the championship standings, so the results get nullified. And if that had happened, which they elected not to do for the sake of the public perception of Formula One, okay, if we've scrapped a race of someone cheating, that looks bad on us, but we're going to scrap it, we're not to look better. Well, as a knock-on effect, if that race had been scrapped, Felipe Massa would have won the 2008 championship. We wouldn't have got his Zach Glockslower moment. It would have been Felipe Massa is your 2008 world champion, and it wouldn't have been for just 40 seconds, it would have been for the rest of history. But because of the FIA not wanting F1 to look bad, they didn't scrap the Singapore result after Crashgate, and Hamilton won his first championship. So, yeah, you've got to be on both sides of the controversy. Hamilton winning championships due to the FIA, losing championships due to the FIA. But, yeah, Hamilton, he is one who kind of silently benefits, because the year before, what was it called? Spygate. Oh, yeah, Spygate. That was McLaren. And, of course, the drivers had nothing to do with Spygate. But that still got McLaren... I think their points got zeroed for the 2007 World Constructors' Championship. The drivers still got their points. So Hamilton and Alonso were still 1 point behind the wonderful Iceman himself, Kimi Räikkönen. And I don't think he's currently on a stint, but Kevin, the man who was driving... Which car was he in? He was in one of the CRL teams, wasn't he? Yeah, in the Le Hobnobs one. Where is that? Here we go, P6. Actually, no, he is driving at the moment. Okay. So Kevin in that 911 car. If I quickly hop on board with that. This man is the biggest Kimi Räikkönen fan. I thought it was me, and then I came across him. No one can claim to be a bigger Kimi Räikkönen fan than this man. So, yeah. Right, I gotta have a little look. Are the two BMWs still fighting? No, they're not. What has happened to the number 6? That must have been a spin. He's miles down the road. Coming out the pit lane, almost neck and neck, the 221 and the number 6. But now the number 6, 18 seconds down the road. I wonder if there's any damage on this car. There's certainly some dirt on the car from the looks of things. Here I can't see at face value any damage. But it's a lot harder to tell than F1 because it's not just, the wing's missing a little bit. I mean, you can see it bumped up a little bit, of course. I'm newer to this game, and driver's struggling quite a lot. Last lap, a 2:24.6. Well, that would have been some of the time. But I wonder where some of the rest of it has been lost from. Things falling away from BMP. This is weird, just hemorrhaging time. There must be some damage on this car then from an incident that I'd missed while I wasn't on board. But it is still Sieb leading for IRT. 7:47, 2.5 seconds back. Nathan, what time has he just set? A 2:19.0 from the Brit. So we might very well see a battle for the lead once again. This time not between two BMWs, but between a BMW and an Aston Martin. Actually, Aston Martin, on top of the fact that next year they've got two hypercars in the World Endurance Championship. Haven't they recently announced like a racing spec of the, is it the Valor? Or a, I can't remember what it is. They're doing a limited edition of one of their cars. I thought it looked quite cool with the aero. But yeah, kind of Aston Martin do Aston Martin thing. They're doing pretty well in motorsport lately. You kind of look at 10 years ago and okay, they got GTE, but beyond that, not really much. Now they've got the hypercars soon to be. They're in F1 and sure they haven't won a podium in a while. With their cars not really keeping up with the performance that Alonso managed. That one Bahrain race, at one point we thought we might have Alonso fighting for his third championship, but it seemed not to be. Although Alonso for once did make a good move in terms of teams from Alpine to Aston Martin, and Alonso making a good team move is a very rare occurrence. Thoughts on the IRT versus CRL crash on lap 4? Was that the one that you were involved in? Because if's the one in Blanchimont. I can't remember which one lap 4 was. Assuming that is the one I'm thinking about that involved you. I honestly can't remember exactly what happened. Yeah. I can't remember where the cars were. I'd have to. You know what? I will watch the replay back. I can hop back in the stream and find where that moment was. If you bear with me. Right, where are we going here? Right, are you sure it was lap 4? I'm thinking it's lap 5 based on what I'm watching. It's lap 5, okay. Right. Yeah, IRT are getting a penalty for that one. It might be just netcode or a lag spike, but they seem to massively gain a huge amount of speed and then just dink the back of the cone car on the rear. There's no lifting, you hold your line. So, not to live steward, but my money's not favouring IRT in the steward's room there. And it was really unfortunate with you kind of ending up splat in the middle of the corner there. Yeah, then get immediately returned to garage. I mean, that's pretty much the worst place to have a crash and end up in the middle of that corner. But yeah. No, I'm definitely going to say there will probably be a penalty of some kind for IRT. I'd imagine it'd just be a moderate collision. Probably a 10-second time penalty. I haven't seen a massive amount of ACC stewarding within CRL, but it's kind of the usual. There's plenty of stewards, there's a system, they know what they're doing. These guys have been stewarding for years. Lovely, needed another opinion. Also, how is my car so dirty? Well, actually, back to the World Endurance Championship. After Le Mans, they released an amazing video of just all the cars in their kind of end of race, dirty, broken form. And it had this real kind of eerie, ethereal vibe about it. It's well worth looking up. In fact, I am going to... I'm maybe going to link it in the chat because it was such a good video. I've got to find the video first and then change over to the right account because I'm not actually signed into CRL other than for the purposes of streaming. If I can find it. Right, But yeah, it's always nice kind of seeing those dirty cars at the end of an endurance event, just those battle scars they've picked up. You'll see me after your stint. Right, well I'm going to stick the video in the chat. Yeah. Oh, hello. Don't want to know. I think it lets me do that from the CRL account. Actually, I've also seen we got a subscriber 31 minutes ago, so thank you to the German man. My German isn't quite good enough to know what that means. But whoever that was, thank you. Didn't show it to me live, so I don't have the dashboard up. But yeah, best of luck with your stint, Harry. And keep the car nice and dirty. Well, you're P14 at the moment. And you still got to do 2 more stops. You are aware you have 2 more mandatory stops, right? Your first return to garage didn't count as a stop. Well, we'll find out if that ends up biting him back later on. But this lead battle is still going on. Nathan has closed down on the IRT car. Remember, the IRT car was involved with that collision with one of the other cars earlier on. So I wonder how they're going to do penalties involving that. Of course, penalties are open. They are a thing. And any results given at the end of this will be provisional to the stewards looking through the results. Currently nothing has been submitted, but they've got kind of the day after to submit anything through. Get the footage in. Is Nathan really starting to close down onto the back of it now? Half a second, 0.2 faster last lap than the BMW ahead. This battle for the lead. 48 laps in now. And I've somehow still not run out of things to talk about. I've got 1 bullet point left of talk, I think. Yeah, just 1. And then I'll have to make up my own stuff from there. There's not near enough this time around. I wonder if the lap cars are going to benefit. Though Nathan taking a very narrow line, running deep, and that is going to cost him, yeah, 5 tenths even through there. Really fell out of rhythm with the car. Yeah, the 2-2-1 starting to close down onto that back marker. And we will see. Actually, also Jamie Jamie has closed down onto the back of the 3rd place car for P4 areas. Oh, hello. Tracking in funky things. This was the man who's in the commentary box for the first half hour before his teammate called him and told him, "Oi, go do some practice." And it seems that practice has served him rather well. There's all the car ahead, making a mistake, going wide. Is that the opportunity he needs to go for move here? The middle sector, hard to go for moves normally. Can he get him round the outside? He's running a little bit deep. Car not quite where he wants it to be, onto the slippery green stuff. And no, in the end, the move does not happen. It's actually a lap car. About 2 lap cars behind, fighting for position in the rear mirror. Behind the 45, as I've hopped on board with the wrong car. Here we go. Yep, now I'm on board with them. I don't know. Either way. Confused myself temporarily. Ooh, hello. Nearly getting rear-ended by the number 12 behind. That's a send. That's a beautiful send. The Lamborghini threw up into P8. Very nicely done there by Hayes Team 2. The German driver. Wonderfully done and already pulling away. So we'll hop back and more with Jamie Morris, who I think actually he's in the instance of having a car behind him who's a lap down and faster. Don't know how many cars remain on the lead lap. I assume by now that everyone has done... Yeah, everyone has done at least, in fact, everyone's done exactly 2 of their stops. You can see it all has 1, so meaning 1 more mandatory pit stop, with the exception of me, because I haven't pitted because I've been not driving a car. Seems fair enough. But yeah, the leaders battling, the P3 battling, P8 and 9 they were battling, though Hayes Team 2 getting through is, oh, here we go, up the inside here goes Jamie Morris. Can he make it stick? He seems to have a very solid line here. The 45 getting it done on the 6, and nicely done, moving it through to the outside. That's him up into P3. And while I've been busy watching that, I've managed to miss the overtake for the lead by Nathan Booth. So my apologies for missing the lead overtake. I will hop back on board with... Actually, this one isn't Nathan, but yeah, IRT falling back from Nathan, who has now claimed himself into the lead. And with just over 1 hour to go, crossing the line for the 49th time. Which, yeah, it means we're looking at about 73, 74 laps. Actually, I'd say 74 laps come the end of the race. Pit stops being a whole lot longer in GT racing than it is in F1, partly because of the refueling, partly just because of how long. Partly because of the, well, not so how long it takes to do the tyres comparatively. So I don't think you're going to pull off a 1.9 second tyre change in GT3. And I'd be very impressed if you could. You need Guido to help you out for that one. But sadly, he's not a feature within ACC. But yeah, Nathan is just starting to pull away here. Oh, hello. I see down in P13. That is a driver who has now served all of his mandatory pit stops. It will likely be this driver here for Hirkonen GT team through to the end of the race. Right, let's see if I can get on board with this here 964. Yeah. That Lamborghini getting stuck behind the cart that's a lap ahead of it. Thought that might happen. Of course, the Lamborghini, he wants to get through as quickly as he can, but you've got to be careful as a lapped car. You need to get through cleanly and fast and not block the other driver. As I said earlier on, I haven't actually read the regulations, so I don't know what blue flag rules CRL are applying here. Considered reading them, but then kind of realised I need to set up other stuff. Oh, hello. The number 4 driver, BMP, going very wide at pit 1. And is that enough for Hayes Team 2 to get through? Yes, it is. They'll be happy to be through as fast as they can. Saves them having to defend from behind. To be fair, simplifies everything just for both teams. Hayes Team 2 not likely to finish on the lead lap, but not too far behind. You want to be as close to the lead lap as you can manage, even if you won't finish on the lead lap itself. Let's have another look then. Do we have any racing? Right, hang on. Well, first off, who's lead lap? 68 is lead lap. So currently, VSRL is the last driver on the lead lap. 7 drivers currently on the lead lap of this race after just over 2 hours. About an hour left to go. At this point, sure, some of the drivers are going to start feeling weary. They have the advantage. They've got 2 or 3 drivers in their cars. I've just got my one set of vocal cords, one microphone. I had Jamie join me earlier, but as you can see, he's slightly occupied at the moment, so he won't be joining me back again. Similar with Freefall, who offered to join. Oh, that is a drive-through picked up. Presumably track limits coming up through Radion, just going over the curb to the left, as is so easy to do. Yeah, this man was another potential co-commentator Scotty Dodds. But busy racing as his teammate not really able to do much of the race. That was Rob. I don't think I've even seen Rob in the car at all. I imagine he'll pick it up right at the end. The 964. What has happened to the 964? Which one even is the 964? They've all got the wrong numbers on. Who's the 964? I don't know. Right, hang on. What am I? Oh no. Oh, it was this car. The car I was on board with before. They've dropped down a place. I've just seen a fly near my computer. Wonderful news. So, do they have any damage, or do they just go for a big spin? I think... I can't tell. I mean, you can see there, yeah, 20 seconds down, or well, 19.5 down on the Delta. They are losing more than you'd expect. I think there is some damage to the rear of the car. So they do seem to be hemorrhaging more time than you would expect. Unless this car was already damaged before, but bad news for Old Boys Hungary 964. But actually, just ahead is the Old Boys Hungary 2. So these two sister teams close together on track, unlikely to remain the case. Do they pit now? Repair the damage? There's the 275 picking up a drive through. That's the team who've done all the mandatory pit stop. Oh my goodness, what has happened there? Harry Palmer straight into the back of the Ford. What has happened there? Was that a brake check? There's been a lapse in... Oh, hang on, right. What has... Okay, well, having watched it back, I'm not any clearer as to what happened. I would need to see the point of view of Harry Palmer behind. That is a man who's just hopped on back in with his team and immediately decided he's out for blood. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, that will be penalised. You can see the rear... go the wrong way. The rear of the... What's it called? My brain's starting to flag a little bit now. Aero at the back of the car, you can see it wiggling around a lot more than it should be from that contact. The floor, the aero rake, I think the aero rake, that sounds near enough. And here is the culprit, who presumably has a slightly dented nose. I'm sure talking, or his car's talking a little bit funny because of it. But yeah, the steward's not going to be too best pleased as he's unlapping himself past the number 973. Gets the 973 saw what he did to the last car he unlapped himself from, and I thought, maybe not. There's never mind, he's not unlapped himself very well, costing them both time. Yeah, Harry not doing a very good job here at unlapping himself. Punts one car, fails to unlap himself past another. Don't go for the move there. No. Okay, well, he's kept his kill count at 1. Let's hope it remains that low and not any higher. So yeah, the 275 is going to have to come in soon to serve their penalty. They've already served all their pit stops, if it's the car I think it is. Okay, well they didn't get another car into the bus stop chicane, but they've really got to do this in a sensible way. While Harry's busy trying to sort out how to pass that car, we are going to have another look at the track map. What's happening towards the front? It is still Nathan leading over IRT. Conti May doing well in that 747 that shows us the 17 when you're in this menu. It was ACC things. Quite a way back to P3. Jamie Morris, they're in that 45. I think. I'm learning the numbers, even if they're incorrect. This 46 is correct. No, this is the 221. It's the other 46 that's correct. This one. This is the 46. Actually, hang on. There is seeming to be a battle for P4 and 5. Alright, I'm going to try and hop on board then with the 911 of Kevin. Bear with me a second. Here we go. Right, so yeah, Kevin defending P4 from BMP Motorsport behind. Oh, I think he might have just got past BMP, as I believe BMP had some minor damage or pace issues. Right, the number 6. Yeah, last lap a 2:25. Well, this is the BMW I believed had damage. I think they were the one that had that 20-second crash, weren't they? Either way, do seem to be losing time to the car ahead. Whoa. P16 behind, who've served all their pit stops, are starting to close in behind to try and unlap themselves. We've got someone in the pits, the 964. Oh, that's the car that had the that's the car that Harry went into the back of. So they're going to be in the pits for a while repairing that damage and serving their final mandatory pit stops. Just 2 drivers to this team, neither of the names of which I'm going to attempt to pronounce, but they seem quite Hungarian, and I'd rather not make a mess of the names. So yeah, immediately blue flags coming out of the pit lane, although only just behind the number 10, so that this here, the number 11, sorry, only just behind the car in P10, so the 964 will be racing the car ahead as the 193 picking up some penalties here. The 193 is limited ambition. They're not one of the guys near at the front, but I think they're kind of midfield thereabouts. In fact, no, as you can see, they're P16 at the moment, so not looking too strong, but not looking too weak either. If we go to timetables, you can see how many laps each of the drivers has done here. Although it has the wrong car numbers, so ignore them. Yeah, I mean, 48 laps for the Germans. That's 6 laps behind everybody else. As we are going to try and hop on board with 275 if I can find them. Here we go. Because this car is in a battle ahead. In fact, there's 3 of them here. The 102, the 264 and the 275. We'll hop on board the 102 given it's the middle of the 3 of them. Because my goodness, sometimes when you change the car, the curbs do funky things. But yeah, these 3 cars battling away here for P13. Might not sound like much, but P13 is still very much worth points. And to be exact how many points P13 is worth, it is worth 8 points, then 7, then 6. So only 1 point difference, and that holds true for 20th up through 11th, just 1 point per place. Above that, more points, 45 points for the win across the 4-race season. But are we going to see any moves in the closing stages of the race? Now, the car behind the Herkinen GT team have the advantage. They do not have to pit again. They've already served all their 3 mandatory pit stops. Their final drivers in the car, they will be hoping to go to the end on their current tyres, on their current tank of fuel. These 2 guys ahead, the 102 and the 264, realistically, they are fighting each other. They're on the same strategy. The tyres might be slightly different age. There might be a bit more fuel in the tank. Neither pitting here, but these guys are fighting. And potentially going to cause an issue for the BMW behind as well, who isn't really in the same race. You'd expect the BMW behind to be ever so slightly quicker. As the Ferrari going for a send up the inside, can he make it work? He seems to have done so far. The traction race, though, not falling the Ferrari's way. The BMW round the outside seems to be holding it side by side for the moment. Who is ahead? Who backs out first? The Ferrari backs out. Oh, but the Ford brakes harder than the Ferrari was expecting. So the Ferrari has to brake once again, giving the advantage to the BMW behind. The 275 with Quinaison easily getting the move done up the inside. I don't think it's worth a Ferrari trying to challenge this one. Although the Ferrari does not want to get ditched by the 264. No, the Ferrari is fighting it off, trying to hold it around the outside, the long way around. All this fighting, though, to be fair, has made it work. The switchback not in order for the BMW behind. The Hirkkinen team having to remain in P15, despite the fact they know when the pit stops happen, they will remain ahead. Nothing is going to change that. So here we go, the Ferrari starting to close down a bit. I think the Ford ahead, S. Dodds, does seem to be the slowest of these three drivers, which is good for the racing. It's bad for the guys behind, because they're trying to find a way through. Oh, hello. Jamie, you rejoined me. You're back.
I'm back, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, sorry. Believe it or not, my brain's a bit fried at this point, so...
Yeah, I'm not surprised, mate. It's been like 2 hours, well, almost 3 hours now, or 2.5 hours, so you've done a great job so far, Jono. I can't last this long commentated.
Well, at the moment, though, there is a three-way battle for P13 I'm watching, which... Oh, hello. No, one of the cars has pulled into the pit lane and nearly taken out the Ferrari in the process.
Jono, I had a battle with somebody. Please tell me you caught it.
I honestly can't remember. Maybe.
I overtook a BMW down into a verge.
Oh, was that for P3?
Yeah.
I think I did catch that, because I missed the overtake for the lead by Nathan to catch that. So I think you're in luck.
Thank you, Jono. It was stressful driving because like it's so easy to make a mistake. Sometimes it's quite easy to break yourself in like heavy braking zones, and even like intermediate speed corners as well. You gotta be really careful of the rear locking of the brakes. It's so easy to drift out wide. So yeah, but it's nice to race, and I tried to keep the mistakes to a minimum, and I got dived into turn one by a back marker, and I luckily reacted to that, because otherwise if I didn't, he would have wound me out. So yeah, I could have joined the party in a very different mood. But yeah, overall it was a good race. I enjoyed it.
There was
I only one overtake, but it was a clean race from my side, I think, Jono.
Yeah, well, someone who didn't have a clean race where you got on, Harry Palmer was trying to unlap himself past someone into bus stop, just straight into the back of the car. I mean, it's the most clean-cut thing the stewards are going to ever have to look at in this race. Like, there's no excuse for lag. I don't know if it was an accidental brake check, but... I actually think it might be the car he's on the tail of at the moment. I need to hop on board with...
It was something to do like a brake check. I heard it, Harry Palmer saying a party. He misjudged his braking into the Boston chicane, because I saw in the full map there was a car stationary, so I had a look and it was Harry Palmer.
Yeah.
It's a shame what happened to him, because he has great pace, but look at this, going wheel to wheel now with Thomas, the old boy's hungry, about to go in a battle for P10 as we head down to turn one. As you can see, Thomas backs out of it, looks like he did, and Harry Palmer goes through.
Yeah, and it's amazing that, yeah, we're here, we're like, what are we, 140 minutes into the race. Battles are still taking place all throughout the field. Nothing is certain. Just, yeah, I think the leaders, for the most part, still have to pit. I haven't checked recently if they still have to do the pit stops. It'll be about now that they'll be looking at pitting. Yeah, our front two boys, actually one of them, the 28 BMW, has come into the pits. I don't think it's actually the 28 BMW. I can't remember what number this one actually is.
Oh, there's a move going on, and I think that's Harry Palmer overtaking a back marker. Yeah, it is. So back marker lets him go. But the thing is, though, the back markers don't let you go too easily, because I had a situation with a back marker and I had no idea if he let me through. And he wasn't exactly on the racing line, but he was super close to it. And it was going down into Lacombe as Harry Palmer just outbreaks himself into Ravage there. But yeah, for some reason, back markers don't really get fully out of the way. They just try and like they hop off the racing line, but they stay close to it. And you've got to take a tight angle going to the corner, which compromises your exits as well. So it was distracting because I was actually trying to
Ooh,
catch.
someone's off in the grass there. Sorry to interrupt you. The 264 must have just made a mistake somewhere. I've just happened to flick onto them, and I think they have just had a crash. I'm not going to believe their current lap time because it says they're 185 minutes into their current lap, which I assure you they're not. But nonetheless, their car is acting slightly wounded, and I did just catch them in the grass. I think it was the left-hander and No Name. I always forget which one No Name is, which is quite funny. I can't remember No Name.
Yeah, so I was catching the man who's in the pit lane right now, Pope Skull, in the pit lane of the BMW Motorsport, probably giving the car or going for another stint. But yeah, I was catching him. The gap was going up and down most of the time. But that Markham was ruined it for me because I got pinched on the inside, and it was like I had to react really quickly. I was my heart was beating at a rate of knots as well, as people saw it in the pit lane. People saw it on the share screen. And it was like you don't know what they're going to do. You got to be really careful, but try and anticipate what they're going to try and do because they don't get out of the way on this straight here where the BMP Motorsport is, or the BMW, sorry, where he is right now. He actually got out of the way into Lacombe and he maybe go on the very inside of the corner to overtake him. So it was dodgy, but at the same time, got to react really quickly. I don't think people want to slow down too much to allow the tyres get dirty, etc. Being on the offline grip. But Josh Evandro now up to P4. Are we looking for a podium? Because the guy ahead of us, Eckler, has still got to make a pit stop for Hayes. And I believe Eckler had a problem early stage of this race, did he, Jono? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, I think given where Hayes were before, compared to your pit stop, I'd say that, yeah, if you're currently sitting P4, you are in with a decent shot at the podium. Actually, at the moment, I'm on board with the 221, and it is still going to be behind the 747. The 747 is still the car in the lead at the end stage of this. They've chucked Jay Garrett back into the car for the fourth and final stint. That's the driver who flew off into the distance in the first stint. So that Aston Martin team, the 747, looking very, very strong for the victory. IRT. Have we had El Tor in yet? It might be the first stint for this driver. But yeah, they've got Hayes Team 1 behind, who do still need to have a pit stop. Behind that is your team, who seems to be doing pretty well for themselves, I will say.
Yeah, ILT are doing well, my team are doing well. It's the battle for P3 so far with Eckler. Still got to make that one and only pit stop here. Leo Aries is the man in P2 in the BMW. So International Racing Team then have gone for Leo Aries this time, and he's doing a great job in P2. I think they had Sieb earlier in the car. I think Nathan and Sieb were basting for what I heard on the podium in the party, and now they've got Leo Aries to fill it in as well. So I think all three ILT drivers, including Phil, has been in that spot, and they're doing well so far, ILT in the Beamer. Not quite sure how far behind they are from Jake Garrett because the gap's not popping on so far. Jacob Booth is doing a good job so far, P5. I don't think he's got any pit stops left to do, so P5 or P4 might be cemented for him later on. Oh, actually went a bit deep going into Lacombe, did Jacob Booth, and
He's called him Jake Paul.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
Man's not going to be happy when he hears that. Yeah, VSRL, the Italian team, getting some support in the chat. My Italian is essentially non-existent, but I'm sure they're supportive words. And if they're not, well, I can't moderate them because I don't know any better. But they're, I think, just moving up into P7 as Old Boys Hungary 2 forced into the pit lanes. They're looking pretty good. A strong result from them. P7, well, that gives them 18 points. Of course, it's 45 for the win, but across the 4 different races, fairly strong result for the first race of the season. And hey, Jamie, do you know the best thing about having the races 4 weeks apart? It gives the drivers lots and lots of time to practice before the race. Did you make sure to make the most of that for this race?
I'll be honest with you, Jono. I only practiced when I left the party the first time, Jono. Josh went for another stint on the same on a new set of tyres. It was supposed to be me next, but he did the middle stint. So I left the party to do that practice, and that was the only time I did practice. But I think I did really well, because I was not too far away from the pace, and I did make a few mistakes now and there, getting spooked by back markers. Yeah, back markers spooking me, but you got to watch out for them too, because who was it that overtook me? He was really quick at the early stages, but for some reason he spooked me going down to turn number 1. I'm quite sure who it was. I think it was one of the, if I have a look, Hayes Motorsport. It wasn't Shawman in P9, it was somebody else. But it was one of the Hayes Motorsport teams.
Yeah, I think Hayes Motorsport 1 at the moment is the lead of the 2, as Mr. Freefall, Scotty, has just joined the party. We're up to 3 commentators now. I'm spoiled in the commentary box. Hello, hello.
How are we doing? This is unheard of. Spoils on the commentary side of things. How's it been going, gents?
Been good. Essentially, the middle 2 hours I was entirely alone, but you've joined me for the end. So
I had hoped to join a bit sooner, but my teammate only turned on to manual gears before the race, so I was doing a bit of driving instructing for the middle stint, and then trying to play catch up again.
Yeah. Where are you guys sitting at the moment?
Well, we're down in 15th. Got a battle with the limited ambition guys. They are roughly about 30 seconds behind. Robert's a little bit slower than them, but
they keep getting drive-throughs, don't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's all actually, you're letting through one of the lap cars. You both missed it earlier. One of the Harry Palmer took out one of the cars he was unlapping himself past.
Oh, was that down into the bus stop chicane, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was quite comical because I was on board with that car. I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the green and black cars. There's a few of them on the grid. Just got absolutely sent. But you don't happen to speak Italian, do you?
Nope. I barely speak English.
Right. VSRL, the Italian team, are getting some support in the chat. I know what Forza means.
Forza VSRL, sorry.
Well, there's more words than that, but yeah. They do seem to be by far the most supported team at the moment.
Ooh, look at Tope. So he's in P2, and there's a back marker in the way, but that's what I'm saying. The back markers don't get out of the way easy. They make you do the hard work around the outside or go down the inside. That's the most frustrating thing about it, where if it's an F1, of course they're ghosted and they don't really have to let you through, it just goes through them. But here at ACC, it's just they make you go around the outside or take a tight inside line, which is really frustrating because you lose time.
Yeah, well, I think it's different regulations, right? F1, it's kind of, you get the blue flag, move. Whereas GT, there's less encouragement to let the car that's lapping you through.
Yeah, it's sort of like, if you're feeling nice, do it at the earliest possible that point, but by the definition of the law of the rules, you do actually have a lap to do it, so it can be quite comical at times, I find. Some people just completely panic when they're letting a car through. Some people are quite good at it, and some people just don't care.
Yeah, right, hang on, one of the Italian guys said, "I'm not so good English, we are pizza pasta."
Well, it's nice to have the Italian fans joining the stream. Very nice to see indeed.
Right, so the team, Hayes Team 1, still have to pit. That'll give the 45, Jamie's team in fact, up into P3, so you're looking on for a podium, Jamie.
Yippee. Do you know what? I was really nervous because, do you know when I went to pit to give Josh back the car?
Yeah.
The party chat were completely silent. 2 people disconnected from the party, and the whole party was silent. So I was like, here he is then. Eckler's in the pit lane to do his final pit stop. But yeah, I was really nervous. I was like, can Josh hear me? And I was saying, Josh, can you hear me? And he's like, he didn't respond. So I was like, I'm in the pit lane, and I really hope he can take over my car without any problems, and he managed to do so. But he didn't respond afterwards, so I'm not quite sure what happened in the party chat, because it all went silent for me, and nobody responded. So I think we disconnected a bit there, but we stayed here, luckily connected to the server at ACC, to keep going.
I can give you some insight into that if you want, Jamie. You pulled into the pit box, and the last thing we heard was, "That's me stopped," and then we got a network error with you, and really just started panicking, thinking he's just wasted the last 2 hours of his life. And then all we heard was you going 3, 2, 1, and he was in control of the car.
Yeah, I was panicking because I only heard Dominic. That was the only person I heard. After I gave the car to Josh, I was like, guys, can you hear me? What's going on? This is the worst time ever for a connection issue for switching. It had to happen in the pit lane, but luckily Josh managed to get out with no further delays.
As yeah, actually Jacob also getting past Hayes Team 1, so that's Cone La Hobnobs. I do wonder, is the other BMW going to get back past through? Is the number 6 near enough or not? Right, hang on, I can hop on board with them and see. They in a battle? Alright, okay, the number 6 are battling Harry Palmer, which is pretty much the most dangerous position on the track. Because he had a crash early on, got to put a lap down, and now he's like charging through everyone, trying to get himself back onto the lead lap.
And look at Kenny, he's on the back of Kun there in P12. They're both in the BMW. Kenny, who spun on lap 1 after crashing in Rouge Radio. But look at that, you can see that Kenny has to take a point action by going slightly off the track there. But the pink BMW getting so close in the back of the same manufacturer, but not able to make a move as they stay behind. Kenny rejoined ahead of me when he came out of the pit lane, so I was like, Kenny, please let me go. But actually, I put myself going into La Coba. He almost got past me, I think, but managed to stay behind me, thankfully, so respect there for Kenny. But yeah, we're back in P3, and it's looking good for us so far. Look at Kenny now, up the inside, into 1. Does he make it stick? Lays the brakes, has the inside line, makes the corner, a nice move up to P12 for the Finnish driver there.
Yeah, I mean, end of the race, half an hour left. I say end of the race, it's half an hour left. They're 83% of the way done through the race. Still battles going on. You know, these guys, they're battling for P12. This is for position. They've all done their pit stops. It's now what can you do left on track. Plus, what will the stewards do to you once you've got off the track as well is another thing to be considered. Did either of you see what happened on the pit entry?
Never seen it myself. My understanding is there was a Ferrari stuck like the forklift in Austin Powers.
Yeah. So the Ferrari 102, Austin powered it on the pit entry. And another car got stuck behind, and the Ferrari didn't reset to garage for about 30-40 seconds. So the other car stuck in the pit entry, not able to get through, just kind of waiting. It was quite comical at the time. But
yeah, sitting watching it, we could just saw like there's a dot stuck in the pit entrance. Now there's 2, now there's 3. What's going on there? And somebody went round by and
yeah.
Traffic jam signal sort of thing. Rob has just lost B15 to TL by limited ambition. I'd like to say, he put up a fight, but he didn't. But P16, go on Rob, learning manual gears for the first time. The car, he's crashed the car less than me. So
you gotta respect it. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't use manual gears when I race. I'm an automatic boy. I've got my wheel, I've got my paddles. I use automatic.
So, manual all the way. I've always driven manual no matter what game it is or what year it was. But when you do manual, it's much more fun. You just got to know when to change downshift and upshift and what's gear to take through the corner, etc. It takes a while of practice, but you'll get used to it eventually.
The funny thing about that is, so my main game's GT7, and I do actually pay attention to the gearing because there are some corners where it sticks you in a gear too high. And if you do a blip of the handbrake, it forces the car to shift down. So I control the gearing only through tapping the handbrake occasionally.
Oh, there's contact. Linwood's in a spin. I think that's a back marker who made contact with, or somebody behind.
It's the 102. That's the car that blocked the pit lane earlier.
Is it?
Yeah, the one we were talking about earlier. Different driver, but same car, the ACC Console Hungary 102 Ferrari.
Yeah, so what he did is he wanted to get past the guy ahead of him. I'm not quite sure who that was that time. I'm not quite sure who it was, but he tried to get past him, but outbroke himself and tapped the back of him and spun. So yeah, Lindworm. I think it's a front runner car, I think he tried to unlap himself, but I can't quite work out who it is.
I think it was the Boys Hungary 964. The green and black Mustang, I think they were round about there. I'd be surprised if he was trying to unlap there because Jake is on some pretty rapid times, but there's been a few little moments like that. People are, name and shame Harry Palmer. We'll do it again.
Yeah, I mean, what he did in bus stop, the stewards aren't going to forgive because was it lap 5 he had that incident into Boschwell, and that wasn't his fault. He got dinked in the back by the IRT boys. It did look like it was kind of internet netcode type deal, but I know usually CRL stance is you take responsibility for your internet. So yeah,
we'll wait and see. I'd be very surprised as well if we don't get a penalty because I did nearly murder the Germans.
Yeah, so yeah, the Italian boys in chat are asking again where the boy F Matt is. He's 10.4 seconds behind Hayes Team 1. So he's not locked in for P7. P6 is not ridiculously far ahead. And honestly, even P5 isn't ridiculously far ahead in the BMP. I think BMP at one point did have a damaged car. I would assume they would have repaired it by now. Not necessarily the case. But yeah, you can see the gaps here. 15 seconds shy of P5, 10 seconds down on P6. So they're certainly with a shock. Jay Garrett up front, I mean, he's locked in for the win. I think it's fair to say he's one of, if not the fastest driver racing today, full stop. And he's already got 25-second advantage. So can't see anyone else taking that off him. Second place is pretty locked in, as is third place. There's some big gaps. It's not really, I mean, it's P5, 6, 7. That's the first positions where there's really any kind of debate as to who's going anywhere. And hang on, I think the number 6 just made a mistake because that gap has closed down. So the P6 has made a mistake. The number 46 car, if I can find it.
Yeah, Hayes Green in P6. He's on the back of the BMW who's letting somebody go. Actually makes contact with him too on the right rear tyre. So that's the driver I had to overtake on the track. And he has been struggling in the middle sector. He's quite good in the first and third sector. But when it comes to that middle sector, he has been struggling just a bit. I've noticed him running out wide at Pua most of the time and missing his braking points. He cut the chicane at the bus stop too. So he has been struggling quite a lot.
Well, also, last lap, 2:27.4. This lap already 4 seconds red on the Delta. Hayes Team 1 has closed right the way up. So these two now battling on track within a second of each other. 24 minutes left to go. Also, these two battle too much. VSRL, they're going to catch up. So definitely battle for P5 is on. Oh, hello. Oh, don't clip. Oh, my goodness. The number 11 by a hair's breadth escaped that. That was nearly very good news for the number 68, but the number 11 narrowly escaping.
It was great reactions from H Green, to be fair. Saw it happening, managed to slam on the brakes just in time, but that could have been absolute party city for the SRL there if there was a bit of contact, but gives them a bit of confidence now. They've seen that gap jump down to the car in front. They'll be definitely pushing to try and bridge that gap to BMP. 23 minutes to go. We're talking about 12 laps still, so there's still plenty to go in this race.
I know Ewan Small in the BMW in his team at P6 has been up there in P3, and he's been critical of his teammate. He's been trying to help him, but the problem is those two don't speak the same language or can't understand each other. That's the problem, because Ewan Small is trying to give his teammate tips as he cuts the exit of Radion, but he's trying to give his teammate tips, and unfortunately they don't speak the same language or don't understand each other. So Ewan's a bit frustrated at the moment because he did a lot of hard work to get himself up into P3 and try and bridge the gap towards the others. But I'll tell you what though, Matt in P7, I saw the gap to 10.7, now it's 5.3, so it looks like that Matt is gaining in on a pop score rate or not. The gap is 4.6, so another second has been taken out. Pop score is really struggling into Lacombe. I did see him have a snappy oversteer as well for good measure, so it looks like Matt, the Italian boys, will be getting on their feet arise for them.
They're going to be happy, but also I think last lap Matt was 2 seconds quicker than Green was, so it's going to be close. I mean, obviously Green did have to slow down when Pope, what's his name? Popescule? When he had his mistake, kind of came swinging across the track. But I do think of the guys in contention for P5, this VSRL driver, the 68, is the fastest of the three at the moment. The number 6, obviously the slowest, making a lot of mistakes, really struggling. Don't know if it's the car, the tyres, what's going on, if there's damage. I mean, there must be some damage given the way they're driving, but
just for that as well. Bit of news on the battle for P15. Rob Allen has retaken advantage. TL losing it through radio and actually having to return back to the pits with some hefty damage. So the Diabetes and Baldo boys going strong in P15 now. I'm proud of him. I'm like a proud dad.
But that's radio actually, are we? Yeah. I think
Oh no.
I think we've lost one of the teams. I have no idea which one it is. Because we had 18, we have 17 currently.
It was the NLR guys. They had, I think they had quite a bad collision, and then half an hour after they had 2 disconnects from 3 of the drivers.
Right. Which
has been the plague there.
Is that the Old and Young? Yeah, Old and Young racing team. The 111, I think. I can't see that team looking at the board.
Yes, there's the Old and Young boys.
Look at this though, boys. It looks like Matt on the back now of Pop's score. He's 1 second behind, as you can see there. So the battle for P6 will be very interesting. But this is the problem with endurance racing for some people, because endurance racing, you need communication between your 2 drivers or 3 drivers, and looks like you and Pop Skull have not had that combination, and he's lost a lot of time, as you can see, into the corner as we go. Matt's all over the back of him. He can be really careful where to overtake, because Pop Skull likes to defend the inside line, and he can be very careful what to do, because I tried to overtake him around the outside into the final chicane, but I went off the track, so I had to do it later on. But yeah, you can be really careful where to pick your moment and make sure you have the inside line covered on the inside, and we'll see then. What about here into No Name, because he went a bit deep to Pop Skull, but not close enough as Matt, so he has to wait and try and get a decent exit out of somewhere to try and overtake him into the corners.
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if it's because we had a slow lap from Matt, but I think Green is starting to pull away. Now he's in clean air. That gap now up to 10 seconds. It was down to about 8 earlier. So P5 looking unlikely for VSRL with 20 minutes left to go, unless there's a big mistake from up ahead. Of course, back marker's always there to spoil the party, but it's still looking very, very strong for P6. Also, Jamie, I think you accidentally called the driver Popsicle.
Yeah, I did, didn't I? In the first, didn't I?
Well, no, just now. I assume it's Popesicle.
I called him Popsicle in the party with Josh. I was like, what's the gap between myself and Popsicle? But yeah, I think it's Popsicle. Oh, Matt's got off the track there, the exit of Blanchimont, carried too much speed, and the car won't allow it. But yeah, as you can see, he puts immense pressure there on Popsicle. So Popsicle goes a bit deep in the Buster chicane. Matt might have to... Oh, there's contact between the two, and more contact too, but luckily none of them in a spin, so they survived. They lived to survive another day, and we continue the battle between those two. But yeah, I noticed as well that Jake Garrett and Leo Aries in P1 and P2 have been trading fastest laps, and Jake Garrett has taken it away from him as well. And also, everyone has done their pit stops except the man down in 18th place, which is you, Jono.
Yeah, I mean, I'm slacking, aren't I?
3 stops left for you.
I love that little detail from Harry that he's gave you the team name of Comms, just to clarify it for us.
What will our team name be in comms? Us 3.
I don't know if I can say what I'm thinking.
Well, we've got a master of taekwondo in the
There's a good bit of alliteration, isn't there? It involves commentary.
The master of taekwondo in this party.
Yeah.
And Tai Chi.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever actually do Tai Chi.
I've done you did it.
No, Wing Chun.
Oh, Wing Chun.
I've done Kung Fu. I've done Taekwondo.
Oh, look at this though. Pop scores all off the track in P1. Will this allow Matt to come through? Look at this. He has the speed and the edge on Pop score, and he's done it. Up into P6 he goes. That was open the door for him and let him through.
Yeah, we've actually also got the P2 man trying to lap these two guys. I assume he's just 1 lap ahead. I mean, P2 guys here, the leader going through bus stop now, so that shows you the gap between first and second. I think it was 25 seconds last time I looked, probably up to about 28 by now, I'd guess. it won't show correctly until he's crossed the line or hop on board with one of them. So you'll have to believe me on that front.
Don't want to jinx it too. Don't want to jinx it, but I am quite happy to what I thought I did in the endurance race. My first ever endurance race here on ACC, and we could be on course for P3. Me and Josh, the double J's. So I think hopefully Josh keeps it clean. He is keeping that gap over Jacob Booth and extended it still.
There is a battle going on for P12. Harry Palmer is only 1.3 seconds behind the ARS guys, Apex Racers squad, the number 13. And I would expect him to be the faster driver of the two of them, just based on the fact that Harry's had lots of incidents that have knocked him down the field. So we are going to have a battle for position going into the closing stages of the race. We've got 3 cars in a row, all of which have green on them in some shape or form. One of which actually is your teammate.
Yeah. Keep it clean, Josh.
Just run away from Harry. Use the.
No, don't do it. That's a back marker. Don't do it. Oh my God. That's what happened to me.
Harry got the switchback though. Look at that.
That's what happened to me. Back marker did that to me.
Number 13 going deep. Harry Palmer up into P12 and now hunting down Josh. Not that he needs to, but I'm sure he'll do his best. He's 24 seconds actually up the road to the next guy, the Herkinen GT team. Another BMW, I think it's 5 BMWs I reckoned. So unlikely there. He just needs to consolidate his P12, avoid killing any more back markers. Because bear in mind, Harry probably has a 10 or 15 second penalty coming his way.
Yeah, Jono, also, these two had a bit of friction and tension the last few days. Not going to explain why, well, only part of it, because Harry's in the Porsche, as you can see, but he was supposed to be in the Beamer with us two, and on Friday he left it to the very last second, and which caused a bit of friction and tension because it was a misunderstanding because Josh thought I was going to do commentary fully with you, but which wasn't the case. I was only going to do commentary not on my stints and join back when I'm on my stints as well. But Harry's in the Porsche now, and Josh is still in the McLaren. And did I say Beamer earlier on? Yeah, I did. I meant to say the McLaren, sorry. We don't drive the BMW, we drive the McLaren. But still, McLaren's a good car. But yeah, hopefully nothing happens between these two. It shouldn't do, because considering one's a back marker and the other one's a front runner, nothing should theoretically happen. But we never know how he outbreaks himself or Josh makes a mistake. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think there is another advantage in knowledge. Harry knows the car ahead is too far ahead unless he makes a mistake. He also knows he probably has a penalty coming his way. What happened with the back marker? Unless it's deemed a brake check, it's very unlikely the stewards will let him clean. It did look pretty bad. I would imagine that would be a 10 or 15 second penalty, depending on how the stewards are feeling. So he ideally wants to build that gap up to the 13 behind. At the moment, it's already at 5 seconds after just one lap. So, I mean, money's in his favour at the moment. But of course, it can swing any which way. There's always time for another incident.
I mean, you say that, but, you know, all these things why Harry shouldn't crash. There's one thing that we're forgetting. This is Harry. He's right behind Josh. Like Jamie said, there's been that little bit of friction, that little bit of drama, and these two are good mates. Harry will be sitting there giggling like a child for the chocolate, just looking for a chance to get his car in front. And
yeah.
It's going to happen. I'm sorry, Jamie. Something's going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, I really hope they put their personal vendetta past those two and just keep it clean on track, because P3 for us, a two-man team, would be really good, especially with a guy that's new to ACC as well, because I admit Josh has done most of the hard work, but the endurance race is won by both of us, and I think I've done a pretty solid job as well to keep that P3. I made a few mistakes, but they weren't major. I did outbrake myself into corners trying to find the limit of the track, and I didn't really pick up any warnings either, which is good, because in the practice sessions I picked up 3 warnings, so I was trying to negate that coming into this actual session here, but Josh got a bit wide out of no name there, so might pick up a exceeded track limit warning, but maybe not a warning itself. But yeah, I think we've done a good job so far, me and Josh, in P3, considering the news that Harry Palmer will not be racing. But look where Harry Palmer is right now, P12, so it's actually worked to our favours.
Something I will point out, the car behind the 45, the 911, so the car in P4, is 32 seconds behind and seems to be losing ground to Josh as well. So even if there is a little bit of a ha-ha going on between the two of them, there is quite a lot of wiggle room to work with, even if there is a bump and a bit of damage. Unless he has to actually pit, he's probably okay.
Have you enjoyed this race, Jono? How has it been for you overall? Because I know you've been here for the whole thing, and how have you found it so far?
Somehow I've been enjoying... I mean, there was kind of, like... At one point, near the end of the first hour, start of the second hour, I was kind of losing track of it a bit. But I just started talking about some random stuff. And now I've been enjoying the rest of it, somehow.
Those 3 hours have flown by.
Yeah, it was kind of... you left, and I was in the swing of things, kind of lost track, because when you do comms by yourself, it's hard to remain on top of it the whole time, keep the flow of the stream. I wrote some random bullet points at like 3 AM the other day, went through them bit by bit, talked about some random stuff. Crashgate came up, Spygate came up, talked about Bugatti, Le Mans, all sorts. I've just been enjoying the whole race now. It's always good fun to commentate, especially when you've got good drivers like these putting on the show, variety of different skills, but all the drivers being relatively clean, putting on the laps, counting down the minutes as we've got just over 10 minutes left. It's been good. It's by far the longest stream I've ever done. I think 2.5 hours is about the longest I've done before. And that's back when CRL used to do 100% for full quali.
Yeah, I remember those days as well. We did 2.5 hours. It was me and Scott doing Q1, Q2, and Q3. And
I used to enjoy
I do
those.
miss those days.
Yeah,
I did too.
They always seem to be really exciting because especially with how close. I know Tier 1 isn't always the closest. Actually, it is nowadays. But back then, Tier 2 was always so close that honestly, qualifying was. It used to get higher viewership than the race because it was so much more exciting.
It was like half an hour. I used to just put my blood pressure through the roof. It was mental. You could go and like scrape through into Q2 at P15, and then at the end of Q2, you're like, I'm in second here, and all you've done is gained a tenth. It was stupidly close.
Especially Austria too. That was the main track and Brazil, places like that, because it's so short, those tracks, and you can gain a lot. If you found a tenth and a half or two, it could catapult you from like P18 to P2. And that's how that's how close it was, the grid. But have you talked at all today, Jono, about F1 between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris? What we saw.
Yeah.
Have you spoke about it?
Yeah,
what's your opinions?
Norris was going in a straight line, Verstappen wasn't.
Yeah,
and I say that as I don't like Norris's attitude of saying, like, it's kind of the friendship somewhat on the line if Verstappen doesn't own up to it. That seems a bit childish, but from a stewarding perspective, Verstappen is in the wrong. He was drifting over to the left, and while Norris could have moved, he wasn't required to move. So the incident is ultimately Verstappen's fault. Although Norris didn't do himself a favour. Once he got the puncture, he pushed the car way too much. If he'd gone slower, did what Max did, nursed it back to the pit lane, he wouldn't have destroyed the rim, and essentially took himself out of the race.
It's not the first time we see contact in that corner as well. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton back in 2016, but obviously that was the last lap, and both teammates on that occasion. It also happened as well. I can't exactly remember the year, but I've actually forgot. It was like back in the older days, like early 2000s, where contact at turn number 3 happened as well. Also, MotoGP, I think that corner has had some fair share of contact back in 2020. That horrific crash as well. That's why that chicane is there, the little chicane on the left and right side. Obviously, F1 don't use that.
They got lucky that they didn't. It was a near miss, but.
That just makes me feel old there when you're describing the early 2000s as the olden days.
I was born in the early 2000s.
Yeah, me too, Jono.
Yeah, I mean, right. For me, boys.
Right.
The client says, like today, the most responsibility for the incident is caused by the FIA.
Yeah, I mean, the FIA should have penalised. Did Max get a penalty for that collision or not?
Yeah, 10-second time penalty.
Okay. They still beat Perez by miles.
Where was Perez again? Like I don't recall him seeing anywhere.
I think he was P7, right? He's just nowhere. You kind of forget about him, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, Red Bull.
You got beat by a Haas, by the way.
Red Bull,
You got beat by
phenomenal
a
car,
Haas.
Red Bull, and then meanwhile you get Perez, who's not anywhere near the front. Makes you wonder if Perez is that bad, or if the Red Bull just isn't actually the best car. Perez destroyed his car on lap 1. Oh right, okay. I will admit, I did just see the highlights.
Or was it with Piastri when he went side by side with Piastri? I'm not quite sure.
That got done, right? Oh, they went.
Yeah.
Piastri and Perez squeezed Leclerc. Leclerc lost some front wing. I guess Perez had to go over the curb and lost some floor.
But there was a separate incident between Piastri and Perez, was there not? I can't exactly remember now, even though it was about a few hours ago. Yeah, the client says, yeah, with Piastri, he posted a story of the floor on Instagram.
Yeah. And yeah, with these cars, floor damage does an awful lot. But to be fair, F1 this year has been really good in terms of just bringing the field together. We're going to have this year, we're going to have 25, where the regulations just get closer and closer amongst the teams. You get more and more different winners, and then 26 comes along, and you got one team dominating again because of the new regulations. But at least we've got a couple of years of good close racing.
Think about it. We've got 5 different winners this year, and last year we only had 3 throughout the entire season: Perez, Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz. The only 3 winners last season. So we expected 2024 to be another copy of 2023, but that's not been the case at all. We've had Norris, we've had Leclerc. I know that Australia problem when Verstappen retired. Obviously, Verstappen I think would have won that race, but at the same time, mechanical problems does come into Formula One, and that's how you win and lose races. But yeah, 5 different winners: Russell, Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, and Verstappen. Perez is not on that list this time.
It's not just from 3 winners to 5 winners. It's from 2 teams winning to 4 teams winning.
Yeah, you're right, Jono, as well. Yeah, you are.
Like the top 4 teams have all won a race, and in fact they're clear cut above the rest. But the fact there are 4 teams who are competitive, it's so nice to have that again. It's like the early 2010 eras where you had that kind of. Was it? Oh, it was 2010, wasn't it? Where they had that really close battle, and Vettel didn't lead the championship until Abu Dhabi, where he won and got the title there.
Yeah, Vettel, Webber, Alonso, Button, and Hamilton.
Kimi wasn't involved in that one. He was off rallying, wasn't he?
I didn't say it. I didn't say Kimi.
Yeah, I know, but my brain went to him. I'm a big Kimi fan. Not Kevin Level's a Kimi fan, but I'm a big Kimi fan.
Yeah, Kimi went to rallying and he returned back in 2012 to a place, I think it was, with Vitali Petrov.
Yeah, nearly bankrupt Lotus, and then forgave the just said, yeah, don't pay me, make my car quick. And to this day, Alpine still owe Kimi, like, I don't know how much it is. It's around about 10 million.
Is that how much? I thought it was around million, but I didn't expect it to be that much. However, though, if you know to the top, Jake Garrett, the gap I saw between himself and Leo Aries was 42 seconds. I think he just popped up to 50 something. I can't exactly remember what it is now, but it's over 50 seconds, and that's how much Jake has got in hand in time. He could afford about a 10-second time penalty if he wants to cut the corners, but obviously he won't do that. But yeah, Jake Garrett, Nathan Booth, and Dominic Crosby, all 3 of them have done a fantastic job in this race. All credit to all 3 of them for producing fantastic stints. And it's hard to say, considering I'm a driver myself. Do you know what's funny, being commentator and a driver at the same time?
Yeah, it must be quite a weird one. Also, there were only 4 cars on the lead lap, and there were only 9 cars who have been lapped just once. So, I mean, it shows just how far ahead Cone Racing League have been. And, of course, it's endurance racing, it's 3 hours, that's going to happen, but to have one car so far ahead just shows how well they've been driving. I assume there aren't any battles we're missing going on. It's 20 seconds between second and third, so that's not going to happen. Well, 2 minutes 30 left, it seems, for the most part. Closing stages of the race. P8 and P7. Actually, that's not impossible. 14 seconds, but BMP does have that kind of damaged car and the driver who isn't excessively confident in the car. Hayes is locked in P5. They've managed to pull away from VSRL. Limitation. Limited ambition. My brain's going. I assume Scott, your team's locked in P15 now. How far of a...
We are. We're almost a lap ahead of limited ambition, just with them being in the pits. And
oh wow, yeah, actually.
I think there was a little mistake somewhere else as well. So Rob doing wonderful work.
Yeah. But he's nearly a lap down on the guy he's behind.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we've had for those that know me with the regular season, especially last season, I just always find myself in a position of being too quick for the guys behind and too slow for the guys in front, and it seems that this has carried over to this. Let's ignore the fact that we're only too quick than two teams, but we're still just in our own little bubble.
Jono, imagine doing podium interviews. You have to interview like every single driver,
drivers.
Three drivers in each team.
I'll just want gone. I don't know how long I've been here. Right.
You've done a good job though, mate.
Yeah, stream started
3 hours.
3 hours 24 minutes ago. Stream started.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't survive 3 hours on my own. You've done a fantastic job, Jono. Thank you so much for stepping in and doing comms. I know you've been lonely, but I tried to stay with you the whole time.
What I will do, quick shout out to the Germans. They're P17, so last, but they've kept it going to the end. They're who knows how many laps down. They're way off the lead. As the leader now on the final lap, importantly. But they haven't stopped. They've kept it going. They've gone through to the end. They've seen the endurance race through to the end. And they'll be picking up, I think, 4 points for the fact they've stuck around. Because I know there's sometimes that, thought of just, I'm last, I'm definitely going to be last, just drop out. But no, they've kept it going. They haven't dropped the car out. They've kept going right to the end. And they're now starting their 65th and final lap. And actually, I want to hop on board now with the leader. So we can see him go round his last tour of this circuit. He's driven it 74 times already. Not actually, no, he hasn't. His team, the car, has driven it 74 times already, not including qualifying. As the time comes to an end, I assume it's only once the leader crosses the line it's considered the end, or is it once the time is done, it's done?
Once the leader crosses the line, it's similar to the quality rule. Once the timer goes, finish your lap. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a remarkable race by Cone Racing Team A, with the exception of the third stint. I think they absolutely dominated. They had one driver in who wasn't. Actually, no, it was the second stint, wasn't it? When they had, I can't remember who it was, but they had Garrett, someone else, Nathan, and then Garrett back in.
Dominic Crosby.
Yeah, him. But it's always nice, kind of. You've got a team where there isn't one team with three phenomenally fast drivers. There's a mix of that skill, as you would find in GT3, where you've got that. You need a bronze, you need a silver, you need a gold driver. You find in the World Endurance Championship. And they've driven so well, they've kept it consistent. They've avoided any major incidents, qualified on pole, I think. Fastest lap as well, that 2:17.9, which for anyone who hasn't played this game, that's fast. In fact, that's faster than quali, but of course quali was done under wet conditions, so doesn't mean a whole lot. And here they go towards the line, 3 hours of racing, and it is them who win the first endurance race of CRL. Congratulations to them. The 75 grueling laps they have undergone. The next man, if I can find him, will be El Tor. IRT picking up that second position. The Dutch team, Leon now. I mean, he's still got a whole sector to go. That's how much of a lead that the top team had over everybody else. Couple back markers ahead. VSRL, what's he finished just ahead here? The fact that P2 is going to cross the line alongside P6 just seems wild to me when I normally commentate F1, because you don't see that kind of lapping going on. Smart drivers coming towards the line. I think ACC lets you do donuts after you cross the line, doesn't it? I should have watched the leader more. But either way, here we go. Second place on the podium, going to Tor in that BMW, the 221. And then I got to find the 45. There's Evans rounding through the bus stop. As I'm here we go. Jamie, I'll let you do this one.
Our team Evan Endurance crossed the line to finish in P3. That's me and Josh on the podium together.
Yeah, there you go. And then one last driver to finish on the lead lap, which seems wild to think, just 4 drivers. But here we go. Jacob Booth, another of the Cone Racing League teams, the Hobnobs, and they will be the last of the drivers to cross on the lead lap. Then we'll have a look through the order, talk about the points. Of course, everything's provisional with penalties, but the gaps are pretty big across the field, up and down the order. I can't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of changes, even post-steward-in, bar just penalty points. As here we go. Let's have a look at the standings for final things. A few more drivers to come to the line, but you can see here 4 finishing on the lead lap, 9 another lap down, 13 another lap down, and then the bottom 3 drivers all kind of finishing on their own laps. But that concludes CRL's first endurance race, 3 grueling hours and 76 laps of racing.
So, Jono, we had 2 teams disappearing. We had Old and Young Racing Team, and we've had ARS team gone as well. So that's 2 teams who disappeared from the race.
ARS, when did they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, I must have missed one, because I made a thing that had like the number order of the car numbers, so I knew how to find the car I was trying to find while in the drive section. But yeah, and I think if I go to... Can I save the replay, actually? Oh, no, I can't. This doesn't work. I was one, yeah. Trying to get to... Turn to garage, timetables. Will you show me the race? No, you won't. Okay, right, well, we've seen the race results. I'm not doing post-race interviews. I want some more food. I surprisingly don't need the toilet. But I hope you've all enjoyed the commentary for this event. I've enjoyed it, I think, more than I was expecting to. But thank you to Jamie and Scott for hopping in when they could to help me out.
You're welcome, mate, and thank you for commentating. You did a fantastic job of the whole event, so really appreciate that, Jono.
Yeah, and make sure to come back next week. There will be the general GT season, which Jamie will be commentating. Unlikely I'll be joining you, slim chance. But then also in 4 weeks' time, we have got the Mountain Panorama, the Australian race at Bathurst, which will be another 3-hour endurance race. So you've got that one to look forward to. But I think from me, Jamie and Scott, that'll be it for this race. So see you all next time.